talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. 7 years on from his last England call-up, Ruben Loftus-Cheek was at his mum's house when he got the text. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, one of 10 Londoners in Thomas Tuchel's squad, he said he was made in the capital.
You know, that's why I kind of played my football, was on the street and in the cages every day. I think you develop technically, even though I'm a big guy.
The AC Milan midfielder played in a number of positions under Tuchel at Chelsea, including 6, 8 and right wing back. England's World Cup qualifier against Andorra is live on Saturday afternoon here on talkSPORT. So too the trip to Serbia on Tuesday night. Now, Alexander Isak is in great spirits ahead of Sweden's World Cup qualifier against Slovenia. That's according to Jon Dahl Tomasson, who says he'll treat the British record transfer with care.
So is he able to play in 90 minutes? Of course not. Are we going to do stupid things? No, we are not going to do any stupid things with him. So we have a plan, but he's smiling and he's happy to be here.
Into the National League, where Eastleigh defender Archie Harris has now been discharged from hospital after a collision with Scunthorpe's Jean Bellahuin last night. The incident in the 7th minute of stoppage time caused the match to be postponed. It was poised at 1 goal apiece. Bellahuin, who travelled back overnight on the team bus, is said to be feeling much better and is grateful to the well-wishers. Finally, Novak Djokovic says he's got a couple of days to get his body ready to face Carlos Alcaraz on Friday. How does he feel about the fact that everyone in New York is expecting another Alcaraz-Sinner final?
We don't need to spend words about two of them. You know, we know that they're two best players in the world. Everybody's probably expecting and anticipating the finals between two of them. I'm going to try to mess up the plans of most of the people, and let's see.
There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has admitted she did pay too little stamp duty when she bought her second home, and the head of the Met Police has had his say on the controversial arrest of Graham Linehan. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Lots of rain around, with a yellow warning for thunderstorms covering most of England and South Wales. Some strong winds as well.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll look at the surprisingly high-quality players you could still pick up on free. We'll get reaction to Ref Chief Howard Webb's Fulham apology, and former England player and selector James Taylor on the reasons behind England's humbling yesterday by South Africa.
That will also relive your Sonny Baker-like tough first days on the job, and a former pro defends the striking strikers Isak and Visser.
There's all this, plus we'll dip our toe once again into the burgeoning world of football trading cards.
Yeah.
We'll get the latest from South America with Tim Vickery, and there's no other way to put it. We're talking vests.
Yeah, we're talking vests. A vest that can talk. Well, every Christmas you must think, I wish I had a vest that could talk. But anyway, your dream has come true. It's obviously in football. We'll tell you more about that later on. 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. And to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed to be here today.
Are you really?
A last-minute move to Saga Radio didn't go through.
Oh, that's a shame.
The fax machine was broken.
Promises were made, Andy,
They
by
were.
talkSPORT.
I was told I'd be allowed to leave.
What went wrong at the end?
It was the fax machine.
You were deemed too old for Saga Radio. It's fantastic. Yeah. A little bit old for us. I said you're a little bit old for us.
I'm a free agent now.
Yeah, you're a free agent. Yeah, well, there's a lot of good free agents out there.
Oh,
it seems Kurt Zuma's off to Romania.
It's very nice for him, yeah.
The cat lovers of Romania will be marching on the ground with lit torches. But he is one of many players, I believe, who's a free agent. And I think they closed the window last night for taking your European squads.
Oh, right.
So I don't know if that's going to curtail the possibilities for him. Although the kind of springboard for this is Kelechi Iheanacho going to Celtic as a free agent yesterday.
That's a good signing for them.
Yeah, and see, Brendan Rodgers said the Celtic fans should be excited. Yeah, he does score some good goals. I think he sounds like a good fit, isn't he? Good.
Brendan knows him well, so that's got to be a good deal. I think.
We'll have a chat about that later on. We'll be looking at some of the players that are free agents that you could still snap up. We're going to talk a bit of cricket later. And Dale Johnson, Mr. VAR, will join us. My missus was out last night, so she didn't have to watch match officials mic'd up, the programme she hates the most on earth.
The Chelsea fans call it Web of Lies. I think it's a bit harsh.
Web of intrigue, web of lies. That's quite good. But anyway, Howard Webb did properly apologise to Fulham.
Yeah.
And Michael Owen said, controversial, Howard. He said, no, not controversial, just wrong.
No, I like him. I like what he's trying to do, and I like him. But I said to you, when you hear replay in other sports, it's quite calm. The third umpire.
That's a good point you make.
In football, it's so frantic. When I say shouting, he's absolutely panicking.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Calm down.
You're right. It's like even like rugby league. where you've got a decision's got to be made quickly, and you've got the referee saying, "Well, it's a try for me. I want you to have a look at it." And so often the TMO's going, I've had a look at it and it's fine. So you can
Bob
give
Harris
the try. It is Bob Harris. But you're right. It's like Rodney Dangerfield, isn't it? VAR. One for the teenagers. It's just nuts.
That's the solution. Put Bob Harris at Stockley Park.
That would be... Yeah, whispering Bobby. He loves his football.
He does. OK, Rob. I think it might have been a foul.
Yeah, you might want to... I'm going to ask you to go. Go to the monitor now. I mean, it would be reassuring. I mean, you could really sell it as a decision, don't you think?
I think so. Ridiculous suggestion.
Yeah.
And the worst suggestion for lookalikes comes from the Star today.
Yeah.
I just can't see this one. Maybe other people can.
Yeah.
Watching Yvette Cooper being interviewed on TV, I thought she's a double for Sky football pundit Tim Sherwood. Is it the ears? Not the ears, is it?
If we're playing lookalike cricket, I'm really... Did she have a gilet on?
It's not even a leg by.
Yeah. Maybe we should have the best... Let's get the best and worst voices for selling VAR decisions. Who do you think would be the worst? Who do you think would be the best? We're going with our old mate Whispering Bob Harris, a legendary DJ, to sell it.
It's a good idea, really, yeah.
It looks like a deliberate handball from me, so... You're back in vision now, so. But honestly, you think I can't argue with that, even though I know it's a wrong decision. Even Marco Silva would have said, "Fair enough, Bob. I can't argue with it." That's definitely a free kick and no goal by Josh King. Let us know. talksport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089 or you can tweet to TSH&J, and we will have a chat with Dale Johnson. And if you missed the show, I mean, how could you miss that? It was quite a juxtaposition for me. I watched a 2-hour Led Zeppelin documentary called Becoming Led Zeppelin, which was brilliant, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Sky Docs now. And it's the early days of Led Zeppelin, how the band performed, some great old live stuff from
that's very good.
Late 60s, early... Bob's back, late 60s, early 70s. But then, turned it...
Robert Plant was offside.
I'd gone from them doing Dazed and Confused and Jimmy Page playing the guitar with a bow, turned over and there's Howard and Michael Owen. It was a bit of a gear shift.
It was on. I meant to watch it and I've completely forgot. I don't know why.
Yeah.
watching Neighbours.
Well, it's not a appointment of view for you.
Not really.
Probably watching Neighbours.
I do love. There's so much stuff about the Beckhams in the papers. I haven't even had a chance to even mention it, but
oh wow,
I know.
Well, good news.
But it's this continual public celebration of birthdays and everything.
Yeah,
I just don't get it. Have you never heard of birthday cards? Honestly,
ever heard of Moon Pig?
This is what she exactly.
Yeah.
Victoria posted a recent picture of her model son beaming in just a pair of pink swim shorts.
Yeah.
Who cares? She wrote, "Happy birthday at Romeo Beckham." Is that what she calls him?
Yeah, at Romeo Beckham.
Romeo, can you dinner's ready?
I think I saw him the other week. Did I tell you this?
No.
I was driving to go and do a bit of shopping, and his nan, David's mum and dad. I was saying that Victoria's mum and dad don't live a million miles away from where I live. And they're a very athletic lad. He was running, he was jogging.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was him. He must have gone to see his nan. And I thought it must be him.
That's nice.
Okay, so if I spot him again, I'll say hello.
Yeah, you
say,
should.
"Oi, at Romeo Beckham. How are you?"
Why not? It's a marvellous idea, isn't it,
Yeah.
really? And apparently she won't mention the rift with her son, Brooklyn, on the new Netflix documentary she's doing. She added it was not seen as relevant. It's the only thing that is relevant. That's the only thing people are interested in. But don't worry about it.
I've got to be honest, I'm not massively interested.
Oh, I am. I love all that.
Oh, I know what you're like. You love a bit of tittle-tattle.
I do. I like a bit of tittle-tattle.
So, best and worst voices to sell VAR, talksport.com, text 81089. Oh, yes, very good suggestion by a Toon. He said, "Wouldn't it the late Frankie Howard, a man I work with?" Oh, no. Yes. Was it off? Or was it Wednesday he was off? Was it Thursday? Oh, no. Yes, you'll see. But that would have been good, wouldn't he?
That's very good.
Frank Carson for VR, it's the way I tell him. These all sort of posthumous, Martin the Forest fan.
Yes,
Norman Collier. We had Norman Collier with Simon Hooper the other day, didn't we? Zed from Police Academy. Clinton Baptiste off Phoenix Knights, or old mate Alex Sloan.
That would be good.
I'm hearing the word offside. Yeah. What about that? David Attenborough on VAR. You'd never argue, would you?
No, that's true, actually, yeah.
And we turn now. I've got nothing for it. I haven't got a bit for it. It's just been landed on me, but we can all hear it, can't
we? We can, yeah. It's marvellous.
For me, Rob, it's not offside. It's true. It's just like Whispering Bob. Anybody with a calm voice. Somebody called Joe Pascual. I think you mean Joe Pasquale.
Joe Pascual.
Yeah. Joe could sell it to you, definitely. Keep them coming. TalkSport. Yeah, it might be a bit.
Be able to hear it.
TalkSport.com, text 81089.
Dogs in the Stockley Park area are going mad.
They'd all be going mad if Joe was doing it. Yes, we should commiserate a little bit with the England bowler today, who had an absolute nightmare, didn't he?
Sonny
Baker, Hampshire. Worst figures in a one-day game. I've seen a few cricket writers suggesting he was sort of thrown under the bus, a sort of undercooked England team half and hadn't had a net with a team against South Africa, who had come off a really tough one-day series.
Absolutely.
So
scheduling was
England
couldn't
absolutely
be poorer.
Cuffed. Of course, we're going to chat to James Taylor, the former player and selector. In a
They should give people their money back. Really, honestly, it's disgusting.
But he'll be back. Sonny Baker, who's a good bowler, but for 76 runs, 14 boundaries in 7 overs, and went for a golden duck. So not a day to remember. Tough first days on the job. If you want a bit of anecdotal stuff amongst all the stupidity of VAR voices. Stanley Unwin, says Alec, the Manchester United fan. Look him up, kids. Deep joy. There's no deep joy in VAR, is there?
The decisions would be clearer with Stanley.
They probably would be, yeah.
Honest.
He's got more chance of getting another game than Michael Salisbury. So anyway, keep them coming. TalkSport.com, text 81089.
Bad decisions cost more at Salisbury.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. 03717223344. Yeah, James Taylor kicks us off. We're going to talk cricket, look back on yesterday, and talk about Jamie Overton's decision to step away from Test cricket. Maybe it's on red ball cricket. It is maybe a sign of the times. More players going down the franchise route. Anyway, James Taylor up next. We'll hear some of the audio from that game and hear Howard Webb's explanation. And we're in Italy. Find out more about that move for Jamie Vardy at Cremonese. Loftus-Cheek's call up, how well he's been playing. All Italian football matters with our old mate Tancredi Palmieri. That's your first hour. We're here as always with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station. Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and we were on air yesterday as England crumbled quite spectacularly at Headingley in the first of a 3-match one-day series of play at Lords tomorrow, but big bounce back to happen, all out of 131 off just shy of 25 overs. South Africa just knocked them off, thrashed them by 7 wickets. Not great.
They've been terrible in 50 over cricket. They don't seem to have the patience for it. I don't know what's going on, but it's not right at the moment.
But, some of the team had only just come back from the 100 final, had not had a net, not been involved with the team.
Scheduling is bonkers.
Let's get the thoughts now of a former England player and selector. James Taylor joins us. Hi, James.
Hi, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, good to talk to you again. It's, it wasn't ideal, was it? The scheduling around this, especially as we said, South Africa have been a pretty game hardened after the series they've come off the back of.
Yeah, I think that's been pretty kind. I mean, the scheduling domestically is in a really tough place at the minute. There is so much cricket going on, whether it's domestically or international, and there's just no respite for the players. I mean, look at the likes of Duckett and Root. They've gone straight from, just to name a couple, they've gone straight from the Test series straight into 100, and then one day off for some of them, if not straight into this ODI series and then into another T20 series. It's chaos at the minute with the scheduling. But having said that, plenty of people get an opportunity because there is so much cricket being played at the minute.
But the formats are so different from the 100. There's, a batter may be facing 20, 25 balls, whereas in one-day cricket and, of course, Test cricket, you need to build an innings. They seem to bat without any sort of patience yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that flows into our 50-over cricket. Like you said, we play a lot of international T20 cricket, domestic T20 cricket, franchise T20 cricket. And there is a real skill and an art to playing 50-over cricket really well as a batsman. And your tempo and your gears ebb and flow. And I think Joe Root is a great example of a guy that can do that incredibly well. I think as a side over the last few years, we probably just haven't adapted to the situation quickly enough. We want to meet fire with fire all the time. And I think we could probably go up and down the gears a little bit too much.
When you were the selector, was there a lot of talk about player fatigue and, picking players when they were in the red zone and stuff? I mean, it's even worse now if you were doing it now, James, certainly from next year when the franchises come into the 100 and there's an expectation that really all the England players are going to have to be involved.
Yeah, that was our hardest thing, if I'm going to be honest, as a selector, was the rest rotation policy we had in place, because number one is people's mental health and mental well-being and making sure they're in a good place to take the field for long periods of time and these long series. And there's a lot of travelling as well. It's not just the games that people see, it's the travelling in between as well. So it's non-stop for a lot of these guys, so it is important to rest and rotate and manage them, and that is probably the hardest thing that the administration has to do, and the coaches, the selectors. That is a really hard part, and that was probably my hardest job as selector.
The other problem is that no other countries, Australia or even India, have 2 short-form competitions in a season. That seems to be a problem. I mean, you could ease everything if you got rid of one of them.
Yes, yeah, but that is definitely easier said than done. But and it makes sense as well. But you've got to please a lot of people, obviously, in the domestic game, and everybody wants a piece of the pie. And at the moment, it works for some people, but obviously, a lot of people it doesn't work for as well. But I wouldn't want to be the one changing that schedule, because you're definitely going to upset some people, and those aren't easy decisions to be made. But you're right, they need to be made soon because the scheduling is crazy, and there needs to be some space for players to have some downtimes. And with that downtime will improve the quality as well, because the intensity will be higher. It will allow people to train more and improve technically, as well as that game awareness. But if they don't have that time to practice, they won't get better.
I'm sure everybody around the England team ahead of tomorrow will be putting a consoling arm around Sonny Baker. He seems quite a confident lad, which is one of the reasons he's been picked to play. But that would have knocked his confidence, I would have thought. It was a tough old day out there yesterday, wasn't it, for him?
Well, yeah, it was an incredibly tough day. Obviously, He came up against a brilliant batsman in Markram, who's on top of his form at the moment. We saw that in the Test Championship. He's a great all-round player, and it looked to be the perfect matchup for him in terms of being able to take Sonny down. But from what I've heard, I don't know him too well, but he looks a very confident guy. He's obviously got some pace about him, but he's obviously raw. He hasn't played too much domestic cricket, so when you're under the pumps, it's nice to have something to go back to and some experiences to lean on when this kind of things happened before. But obviously he hasn't had too many experiences because he hasn't been played too many domestic games, and obviously that was his debut. So he's raw, but there's definitely plenty of talent there, and he came up against a very good batsman that put him under the pump.
The selectors love Jacob Bethnal. He's obviously got real talent, but he's really struggled in the Test match. An absolutely mad shot on that morning, and then yesterday he got out very quickly. So he seems to need more cricket, and yet they're sort of promoting him like mad. He's going to be captain and everything. They need to be careful, really.
Yeah, and that's not his fault at all. That's not on the player. That's obviously he's been given the opportunity, and you're right, he hasn't played much cricket at all. It would have been almost better for him to play some more cricket rather than carrying drinks for the Test team. And he needs to be exposed to more experiences to get more time in the middle, to learn himself, to evolve his game. But obviously this summer hasn't been ideal for him, not playing too much cricket. He's obviously incredibly talented, but he needs to learn his game as well, and that only comes from game time. And this summer obviously hasn't worked out for him in terms of game time, the way it's worked out.
One of the other sort of byproducts of the proliferation of T20 cricket, limited over cricket, has been players deciding they don't want to play red ball anymore and focus on franchises. Jamie Overton earlier this week, it did sound a little bit like the MD of cricket, Rob Key, had been slightly blindsided by this. He probably would have made the Ashes team, or the Ashes squad certainly. He didn't have a central contract, and he just made a financial call. He knows he can make a fair bit of money travelling around playing franchise cricket. What's your take on this? Were you surprised, James?
Yeah, and it's a great shame because he's a seriously talented cricketer with both bat and ball, and he adds a great balance to your side. And not only that, but he's a real competitor. He's a great fielder and a guy that you want in your side. He's won 3 championships with Surrey now, and he's a very experienced cricketer and a wholehearted cricketer. So a guy that you would like at least have the option to select. I don't blame them. You're making that much money playing franchise cricket and white ball cricket. And at times it's more fun. Let's be honest, white ball cricket is easier than red ball cricket. It doesn't last as long. There's some massive benefits to just playing white ball cricket. But he will be a loss for sure for Surrey in the red ball format, but also England not having that option to pick him, that will be a loss. But I don't blame them. Again, with the scheduling, it makes it tough for these players to be able to juggle both white ball and red ball.
And finally, James, we spoke a fair bit around the time your autobiography came out, cut short. If the listeners don't know, your career was curtailed in 2016 for a serious heart condition. Just wondered how it's being managed these days. How are you these days?
Yeah, so I'm quite literally still ticking along, which is great. I'm loving life. I've been with Leicestershire now as assistant coach for 3 years, and I love my time with them. I love the coaching world. Obviously, I do some charity stuff as well, which is brilliant. So I've got a nice balance in my life that keeps me busy, and it keeps me ticking along. And my health is all good at the minute. Thank you very much for touching base.
That's good to hear. All the best, James. Thanks very much.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
James Taylor, former England batsman and selector. Our thanks to him. And we'll have regular updates from Lords tomorrow for that second.
Sure, it'll be much different tomorrow.
No, I mean, South Africa did look very good.
They're a good team.
Yeah, they're bold and bad. And their fielding was really on point, wasn't it? They were catching was fantastic. Yeah. So, if you didn't see, where were you? And if you didn't see match officials mic'd up last night, if you're watching, say, The Godfather or Godfather 2, for example, you had better things to do. You missed out on Howard Webb apologising effectively or explaining what a mistake it was to chalk off Josh King's goal for Fulham at the Bridge the other day. We're going to hear some of the audio from the referee and the VAR and hear from Howard Webb as he spoke to Michael Owen, and indeed chat to Mr. VAR from ESPN, Manu, who's right across all of this. Dale Johnson will be joining us for a chat as we reflect on that. Coming up next, though, it's the news headlines.
Man City are struggling to rebuild under Pep Guardiola. They've lost their cloak of invincibility and are now losing out on players to Liverpool and Arsenal in the transfer market. That's the assessment of former Man City player Danny Mills.
There was a time, 3 or 4 years ago, where players would probably go to Manchester City for maybe even less money.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, well, I'm going to win the Champions League, I'm going to win the league, I'm going to win this, I'm going to win that. Now they're thinking, well, actually, that looks like Liverpool are going to have a bigger chance of winning everything.
Meanwhile, Thomas Tuchel is being encouraged to consider Elliot Anderson for England this week.
I'm not necessarily saying he should start, but he should definitely be in Tuchel's thinking. He was outstanding in the summer, England's best player out at the under-21s.
talkSPORT's Henry Winter says Anderson can definitely play in a deeper midfield role alongside Declan Rice. England versus Andorra in World Cup qualifying is live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Wales play tomorrow and around 1,000 members of the Red Wall are making the 3,000-mile journey to Kazakhstan. Scotland are away to Denmark on Friday night. Now, still no wins for Peterborough this season. They lost 3-1 at home to 10-man Leyton Orient in the Football League trophy. With them sitting bottom of League One, director Barry Fry has tried to pick up talkSPORT's big man pairing of Brazil and McCoist.
I tried to sign you, but I couldn't afford the fee talkSPORT wanted for you. I'm desperate for a goal.
Yes, good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We were asking you about the best and worst voices to sell VAR. There is always a bit of an air of panic at Stockley Park that doesn't give you a great deal of confidence in the decision-making. Paul the Addict says Joanna Lumley. That would be one of the best voices. Yeah, she could definitely sell you a decision.
Better than what they got at the moment, Corporal Jones from Dad's Army. Don't panic.
Don't panic. Bad voice, Brian Blessed. The idea of Brian Blessed on VAR would be all over, the levels would be all over the shop, wouldn't they? But you could have it. Well, yeah, that's right. Simulation from Newcastle number 10. Gordon's a dive. Come on.
Why not?
Anyway, let's stick with that now. And let's hear a bit from the game between Fulham and Chelsea, which has been, well, not controversial according to Howard Webb, just wrong. We'll hear from Howard Webb shortly, and we'll hear from Dale Johnson, Mr. VAR from ESPN, who's right across all this decision-making. But first, I think we're going to hear from... hang on, this doesn't seem right. I thought we were going to hear some audio from the actual match. That's what I was told. Is that right? Let me ask the producer. I need to do that now because what I have in front of me doesn't mirror what I think we're going to hear. Anyway, let's hear whatever we hear and see what happens.
We're showing you the broad angle first to show that Chilwell comes into the tackle, and then because of the space vacated afterwards, then there is space to the left.
Have you got a tight?
Now we're going to show you the tight. Yeah, now we're going to show you the tight to show the contact on the top of the foot.
Ah, okay. So what I'm seeing is a stand on his foot that I didn't see in real time. So to be honest, I thought the challenge comes from Chalobah, but it's as he steps back onto his foot. So I'm comfortable that's going to be disallowing the goal for a free kick. The free kick is just round by the centre circle. Is that right? Can you just zoom back out?
Yeah.
So announcement's going to be after review. Rodrigo Muniz makes a careless challenge on
Fulham number 9.
Chelsea 23. Fulham number 9 onto Chelsea 23's foot, and we're disallowing the goal.
Confirmed.
I'm sure I can hear myself in the background there saying, "Get on with it."
Yeah, I'm not there. You were there, weren't you? Dale Johnson, Mr. VAR, of course, from ESPN, the man we often turn to on this, joins us now. Hello, Dale.
Afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, Howard Webb has often apologised and said that decisions were wrong, but he seemed a little bit angry last night. I mean, for him to say controversial, Howard, says Michael, not controversial, just wrong. I thought, wow, okay, that's a bit on the nose.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was really disappointed with the decision and what happened on Saturday, because he knows that incidents of this magnitude, which really do get everybody agreeing that there should not have been a VAR intervention, and it undermines whatever work PGMO are trying to do to change perception, because they just make it seem like there is no improvements and they aren't making learnings. It was really quite telling that it was only with a few hours later that they'd removed Michael Salisbury, who was a VAR, of course, from the Liverpool-Arsenal game on the Sunday, and really made to make movements to say, look, this isn't acceptable. We can't have interventions on something like this, which is really quite trivial, and it's taking a goal away from the game in a really quite important moment.
Do you think they ever go to Michael Salisbury? It's one thing banning him, all right, for a weekend or whatever, but they actually go to him and say to him, number one, why did you do this? And number two, don't do it again.
I'm sure they'll be doing that.
Well, you'd imagine
they'll be having a proper debrief, won't they?
Absolutely, yeah. They have workshops around the week where basically what they do is to go through each decision which has happened over a weekend to get the opinion of all the select Group 1 referees, what they think should happen. And then PGMO management will say, well, this is what we think should happen. This is what Premier League expects should happen for the games to be run in this high threshold way. So even when they're having these votes, though, about what they think the outcome should be, there is still disagreement amongst referees at times. And that is the whole problem with VAR, of course, is that it's all just subjective. And the reason why this goal was disallowed because it was a subjective opinion of another VAR. I think one of the main issues with the goal was, I think when sent to the monitor, they didn't show the referee at full speed the close-in angle. Yeah. He only saw that bit at slow speed. The full speed was this boom camera above behind one of the goals, which gave you no real context of what the challenge was. And then obviously you flip it to the zoom in, and it slowly shows the foot being trod on, which Rob Jones hadn't seen live at the time, but that doesn't mean it's a foul. And so that really just sold the whole incident to him when it gave a wrong impression of just what had happened in the incident.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, Dow. That was very strange, and I thought that sort of thing wasn't going to happen anymore. I mean,
there'll be a real glaring error next week, and the VAR just sit there saying nothing. I don't want to get involved. They'll go completely the other way. That's what they.
I think we also, in those clips, we see the hierarchy, and it's something we have mentioned before. Because I sense the assistant VAR at first doesn't think that's a foul. But when Michael Salisbury is there saying, well, for me, it's this, he kind of, in the end, he sort of gives in. So you see, you kind of see this hierarchy in place all the time.
I think you've sort of got to have the hierarchy, but of course the assistant VAR has also got to be like a fail-safe for it, because you hear him say, oh, that's accidental.
Yeah.
And then the VAR sort of almost talks into him saying, oh, yeah, but he stopped him trying to be able to play the ball. So there's got to be the league VAR in making the decision in the end. But there's also got to be some impact from the AVR to prevent issues happening, which of course didn't happen here. But I think you talk about the speed run. I think the comparison from last night was really good, was the Anthony Gordon red card. And that was a really good process where they showed the referee that Anthony Gordon had run in from like 20 yards at real pace. He gave a proper impression of what was happening. And then they showed the tackle for the point of contact. That is the type of thing you should be seeing if you're going to sell these decisions correctly. But of course, in this case, the problem was the VAR was selling an incorrect decision, and that's where we ended up.
I sent you a tweet the other day, I mean, kind of semi-seriously, saying you almost feel like Howard could sit there, have a couple of days off in the week, and just sit there at Stockley Park with all the monitors in front of him when the games are on, much like they do when they're watching Match of the Day. And
it's all right when it's 12:30 and 5:30, but at 3 o'clock he's got to keep his eye on 6 games.
I don't know. There's a situation where he could be across it all, and he could just press a button and say, "No, Michael, there's no need to get involved here," and then it's done. Then no one has to apologise. Then Marco Silva doesn't have to pull his hair out. I mean, you made the point to me it wouldn't be a practical thing to do, and then you also said, "Let's just hope the new VAR coach, can make a difference." So there is somebody else coming in, is there, to be the overlord of that?
Yeah, Kevin Blom started at the start of last month, who is a Dutch official. He was actually the VAR for England versus France. You might remember that game at the World Cup. So he's got a lot of experience in being a VAR, and there hasn't been somebody doing this role for a while. So he's come in to try and train, to try and change processes, to try and stop this type of thing happening. And he's had a bit of a baptism of fire, of course, because we had the red card that should have been shown in Bournemouth versus Liverpool on the first weekend of the season. And then you've got this one, which is another major incident which has got wrong. So there is a lot of work for him to do. He brings in a lot of experience. It's going to be interesting to see just how that develops over the course of the season.
Were there ones not on the show last night? I mean, because last night, really, apart from that very contentious Fulham-Chelsea, most of them were a pat on the back for VAR, weren't they, really? I mean, most of them, that was a pretty obvious handball, etc.
I think what they tried to do is just try to weigh it up. Now, and then that handball one, the Tarkowski one, was really controversial. There was David Moyes was furious about it. Everton fans are still going on about it. So I think that was one where it was controversial and they wanted to explain why the decision was. I think they put the holding one in there because holding is obviously a focus. So they wanted to explain why that holding was punished. The Eze one was quite a unique one in terms of it's never been seen before, so they probably wanted to explain that. And then the Anthony Gordon one, they probably wanted to show some good process, because it's pointless having these shows if they just show the incidents which fans think are wrong all the time. I think they do have to show that when they're doing things right as well. But the one I think should have been in there, which is what I alluded to just before, which was the Senesi handball in Bournemouth versus Liverpool, which was clearly missed by Michael Oliver. He didn't watch the whole clip. He stopped at the first touch of the hand with the ball. He didn't see the deliberate movement of the hand to the ball. That's gone down as an error with the KMI panel, and it should have been one of the ones that was shown last night, because I think people wondered how can you possibly miss that at the time.
Daniel's been in touch. He's been listening to the chat. He said the trouble with VAR is you can hear it from the refs chat of Fulham, Chelsea. There's groupthink emerging between the ref and those in Stockley Park. There's a lack of genuine discussion and challenge, but more a focus on what we announce and how we get the messaging right. I kind of tend to agree with that.
I think you've got to understand that they've only just come in to start doing this announcement at the end of the review. So as this is brand new, they're probably trying to just make sure that what they're saying before they go and speak to not just thousands of people in the stadium, but obviously millions of people worldwide, they're getting it right in their head before they say it. So I reckon right now that might sound quite strange to hear it as though they're concentrating on that. But I think you've got to appreciate this is so brand new that they're trying to avoid any mistakes in doing that process. And we did actually have it in the Man United Fulham game when he referred to Manchester United as Manchester, which probably wasn't particularly advisable.
Dave says Rob Jones was as culpable as Michael Salisbury because he should have stuck with his original decision. He was in a good position to see what happened in real time.
He got talked into it, though.
Well, this is the thing. You just sort of wonder what the directive is on referees. Again, there's a hierarchy there, but is there a directive? Can they say, no, Michael, I don't agree, I'm going to stick with what I originally said? They don't do it very often, do they?
No, but there's one with Rob Jones in January at Stamford Bridge. He was doing Chelsea versus Bournemouth, and Graham Scott recommended a red card for Daley Brooks for pulling on the hair of Mark Cucurella. And when Rob Jones got to the monitor, the evidence that he was showed was only from the long-distance camera, so it wasn't clear. So Rob Jones was like, well, I can't see anything here, which is definitely telling me that this isn't a red card. So he rejected the red card and carried on with the game. Now, the problem with this one, I think, to give some type of defence for Rob Jones is he had seen this challenge and he hadn't seen the foot-on-foot contact. He thought it was just a coming together. So when he's then been told by the VAR and shown in slow motion that there's something different and the foot landing on top of the foot, even though we know it shouldn't be a foul, then he's obviously been persuaded that he's seen something he hasn't seen, and that was the issue there. And while of course you can't absolve Rob Jones from this, the bottom line is this doesn't happen if the VAR doesn't send him to the screen in the first place.
And just finally, we were joking about it earlier on, but talking seriously at the same point about there being, Andy made the point, and it feels all quite frenetic and quite frantic at Stockley Park. You listen to decision making in cricket and in rugby league, real time, and in rugby. They all seem quite calm, the TMOs, whereas at Stockley Park it sounds like it's just mayhem going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what you've got to appreciate is when we're watching this show mic'd up on Sky, for instance, there's lots of voices going on, but not everybody's hearing all those voices. And for instance, the referee is hearing virtually none of it. He's only hearing it when he's spoken to directly. And the VAR will have the match noise, obviously. They're going to have that, but they're really just discussing things amongst themselves. So what we get on the TV show is we get this huge mass of different voices, the sound of the crowd, the fourth official chiming in, etc. And that's really everything packaged together. Now, I do agree with you that there is an issue about the real quality of conversations and having a real structure. I mean, you talk about cricket, everything's really structured in terms of when they're bringing certain replays, certain angles, when they reach coming to a decision on certain things. That's really structured, but it is computer generated at the end of the day rather than the subjective situation. So I think there's still a long way to go, and this is why the IFAB are still very reluctant to allow this to be played out live.
Thanks, Dale. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, guys.
Darren Johnson there from ESPN. If you, he does a VAR debrief every Monday. If you want to follow him on social media, it's always interesting. You get a kind of nuanced take on what's happened, whether your team's been sawn off or not. It's always interesting stuff. We're going to have a chat with Tancredi Palmieri, our man in Italy, very shortly. Talk a bit about the Jamie Vardy move, some of the other business that was done, how well Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been playing to earn a call-up. Former land for England. So that's all to come. We're here, as always, with our good friends at Toolstation. Next stop, Toolstation. Very shortly, we'll discover who the winners and losers were in the Italian transfer window. Tancredi Palmieri joins us. We'll talk a bit of Jamie Vardy at Cremonese and what we can expect from him. But before that, of course, there was a late call-up for Ruben Loftus-Cheek for England. He's been playing for Milan. And we're going to cross to England training later on, catch up with their own fake or others. But for now, let's hear from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And he shared his memories at Chelsea, working under his former coach, Thomas Tuchel.
He came into Chelsea and he came to me and spoke to me about playing right wing back. And I said, no. But I played there anyways. But yeah, I played a lot of. I played many positions under him, and he values my physicality, and so yeah, I'm used to working under him. And yeah, he's very, very intelligent guy, very intelligent manager, knows the game so well. So hopefully we can do well as a collective.
Do you remember him as a wing back, Andy?
I do.
As a wing back.
I really liked him. I thought, followed him from a young age.
Yeah.
I hoped he'd really train on, and he was just playing really well. And then he got that nasty injury. He just scored about 10 goals at the end of the season before he got injured.
Yeah.
He never was right again for Chelsea, really, and the move worked for him, which was a good thing. And he's a terrific player, especially when he's confident.
It did come out of left field that bit, wasn't it? 7-8 years since his last selection. Somebody who's been seeing him in action, and maybe wasn't as surprised as others, is Italian football expert Tancredi Palmieri. Hi, Tank.
Hey, buongiorno, guys. No, to be honest, I was surprised.
Did you not? Had he not been particularly playing that well for Milan?
No, not at all. I mean, the first season, until he was up, until he was not injured, he was pretty decent. So I'd say the first half of the season. Last year, it's hard to find more than a couple of players, maybe it's too much, from Milan that weren't just terrible. Mind. Milan didn't qualify to European competitions, not to Champions League, to European competitions. Wow. They ended up 8th of the table, and they deservedly ended up 8th of the table. They went to the Italian Cup final, and they lost the final to Bologna, who didn't win a single trophy since 1972. So Milan was a shambles last year, and Loftus-Cheek was well part of this shambles. Obviously not the one that was guilty of that, but partly was injured and partly didn't do anything particularly special to help Milan. This season is a different story. Well, it has just started. He had a very decent start. I mean, he scored in the past game against Lecce. And anyway, with Allegri it's different. Allegri is got this old style playing, so he needs holding midfielder there in the middle. But I would lie if I would say, we all thought that Loftus-Cheek was gonna be back with England. Maybe I'm thinking that Tuchel didn't find he needed someone with strong physically, but at the same time experienced there in the middle, and that wasn't possibly from the young players. There wasn't someone giving the same guarantees of experience. And he went to pick on Loftus-Cheek. Maybe with this new good style of playing that is going on with all the English top clubs, the good holding midfielder that can balance you, maybe something that is going out of style, and so Tuchel had to go back to Loftus-Cheek to find one.
Which kind of brings us on to who won the Italian window. Milan have not done badly. Christopher Nkunku, Rabiot's come in. Modric is still a player, I think. But Napoli have kind of done pretty well, haven't they? De Bruyne and Højlund, Milinkovic, Savic. There's some good people coming for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Napoli did an almost perfect window. They brought in something like 7 starting players. The one you mentioned, and also Luca is center forward for national team. Berkema, Dutch defender of national team. It's like Antonio Conte got basically a brand new team and got the ones that won the title. Milan did good with the names you mentioned, with some others more. Maybe they signed good, but maybe they didn't supply to some of the need they had. So they signed a lot of internal midfielders, whether they are creative or holding ones. But for example, they have few options in defense, very few options up front. They have only basically the starting 11. At the same time, Milan only got League and Italian Cup to play. They don't have European competitions. So those need maybe could be less than someone that is playing in Champions League like Napoli has.
Do you want to ask you very quickly about Jamie Vardy, Cremonese, newly promoted, and we saw a picture of him in front of a Stradivarius today. Cremona home with a Stradivarius, apparently. What's the expectations on him? What are their chances of staying up?
From Stradivialli to Stradivardi, because Cremona is the city of Gianluca Vialli, where he started his career. And the nickname of Gianluca Vialli before he moved to Sampdoria and made his name internationally and becoming a legend was Stradivialli, exactly from Stradivarius to Stradivari. Just for people who doesn't remember, who doesn't know, Stradivarius was the famous violin maker and everything that brought the name of Cremona everywhere in the world. So how curious, how weird that the other great number 9 name coming to Cremona is again with a V, from Vialli to Vardi. Here he comes. You can see the picture if you watch it. And fantastic way to launch him. Actually, it's even how strange, because it's in the same season where Cremonese revived the same first and second kit they had, the same style they had with Gianluca Vialli. So it's unbelievable. And Cremonese did a decent transfer window for someone who has to save their back, who doesn't want to be relegated. And obviously, they started winning in San Siro against Milan, unbelievable. But they were missing a number. Even if there was this guy Bonazzoli, they did a fantastic bicycle kick to win the game. But still, everybody was thinking, if only they had someone scoring goals. Now, if Vardy scored 10 goals in this season, it's good enough for Cremonese. And actually, it's a team that can save themselves. And I think that he will love his time there. Cremonese it belongs to one of those, 200 lovely towns of Italian neighborhood that people don't really know from outside Italy. And if they go to visit, they say, oh my God, this is beautiful. Why do I know only about Venice, Florence, Rome, not about this?
He'll have his own mural, won't he? Thanks, Andy. We've got to go. It's always a pleasure.
Problem.
Good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Pleasure, guys. Ciao, ciao.
There we are. There's Tancredi Palmieri, and there was a picture of him with that Stradivarius, and I'm guessing that Stradivarius is probably worth as much as Alexander Isak. So anyway, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Free agents, you could still get some pretty tidy free agents. We'll run through some of the better ones with Ben Jacobs, our transfer guru, in a few moments' time.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. 7 years on from his last England call-up, Ruben Loftus-Cheek felt another one was always possible under Thomas Tuchel. It's just a good job the text didn't arrive from team manager Ruth Corrie when he was on a faraway sun lounger.
And I said, I'm in England. And she was like, perfect. I was actually seeing my mum. I was at my mum's house. So it was, it was a good feeling, yeah.
Loftus-Cheek played all over midfield for Tuchel at Chelsea, even right wing-back. England, Andorra on Saturday and Tuesday's trip to Serbia are both live here on talkSPORT. Now, who could have possibly overshadowed the arrival of Kevin De Bruyne and Luka Modric in Italy this summer? According to Italian football expert Daniele Fischiella, there's only been one name circulating for the last few weeks, and that's Jamie Vardy.
Last Sunday, he landed in Milan and he was welcomed by dozens of Cremonese fans. And one of these fans had a Vardy tattoo on his calf, which of course Vardy then signed. There were a few with Leicester City shirts.
Vardy's first Serie A game for Cremonese away to Hellas Verona a week on Monday. Elsewhere this afternoon, Eastleigh defender Archie Harris is out of hospital. His collision with Scunthorpe's Jean Bellahuin caused their match to be abandoned at 1 apiece in the 7th minute of stoppage time. Bellahuin said to be feeling much better and is grateful to the well-wishers. And rugby, Gregor Townsend has extended his contract with Scotland till the end of the 2027 World Cup Down Under. He's already the national side's longest-serving head coach in the professional era. Townsend's 100th game in charge falls during next year's Six Nations. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
We're told Father Ted creator Graham Linehan is suing the Met Police over his arrest, and Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner admits she did pay too little stamp duty when she bought her second home. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Thunderstorm warnings cover most of England and South Wales all afternoon. Pretty wet all round with some strong winds as well.
Yes, good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. It's interesting in Daniele there in the bulletin with Fletch saying that the people having Vardy tattoos and turned up in Leicester shirts. They're probably thinking like everybody who's coming over now is going to be Scott McTominay. I mean, and you know, a bit of a cult.
He's quite a legend.
Yeah, he is. He's a bit of a cult classic, isn't he? And he'll probably do pretty well, I would think. He'll score goals.
I think so.
We shall see.
I think he would have done in the Premier League as well, but there we go.
In this hour, we're going to chat to Gregor Robinson, the Times columnist, former Forest defender. He's sort of leapt to the defence a little bit of Johan Visser and Alexander Isak. He'll tell us why. And if you're into your football trading cards, then stick around for Jake Kirkham. He's an expert in the field, especially in the grading of them. And you may have seen some pictures of the Fanatics shop in London. They're queuing around the block there. And there was quite a moment in there when a young, I think 11-year-old, was it? Or a bit older than that, something like that.
Teenager.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Pulled out a pretty expensive card. So it's all the rage, apparently, the trading cards, Andy. So
no.
Jake's, last time Jake was on, we got a lot of interest. You've got questions for Jake around the world of trading cards. Get in touch now and we'll put them to him when he joins us at 2:45. talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J. But a little bit earlier on today, being shown live from Manchester United's Carrington training ground, was a game of football between Manchester United's under-21s and a PFA select team. These are players that the PFA are hoping to get back into work, players currently without clubs. There was a few recognisable names and faces in there, probably most notably Connor Wickham, you'll remember, the former Palace striker. But there are a number of pretty high-profile free agents still available. The reason we thought we'd touch on this, because Kelechi Iheanacho has gone to Celtic, and Brendan Rodgers has been talking him up to the Celtic fans, knowing him as he did from Leicester. So Ben Jacobs joins us now, man, who was right across all the transfers. And even now the window's closed, we're still making him talk about transfers. Sorry, Ben, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Don't worry. Happy to speak transfers.
Yeah, you probably thought you had 5 months off, but we'll come back to that. Yeah, I mean, the window closed, I think, last night. The teams had to put in their European sides. So I suppose a lot of the top-end guys would have been hoping to be snapped up because there were a number of players with Champions League European experience who were still on the market for free.
Yeah, exactly. And I think free agents have this kind of dicey decision-making process to make. Do they try and move late in the window and get in those European squads, if applicable, or do they wait? And then you can have a sort of September period onwards where maybe a club picks up an injury, maybe it's worth the wait, and then you get the move you're looking for, but not necessarily someone preparing to take a gamble on you when they've got other options with an open market. Sometimes that's down to age, sometimes that's down to wage. And we've got this fascinating shopping list of very high-profile names now, such as Christian Eriksen, Mikel Antonio, Kelechi Iheanacho, the former Leicester and Manchester City striker, and countless other possibilities. And I think one good example of somebody that's chosen to wait and see, and maybe it will pay off and be lucrative, is Josh Brownhill, who had the opportunity to move within the Premier League to Wolves, but also has a Saudi option now as well that would pay a whole lot more money. So in the same way the window was mad, I think we're going to have a big supermarket sweep for several high-profile free agents, and let's see where they go. And another one, just to add as well, is Dele Alli. That will be a very interesting story. His contract was mutually terminated by Como, and now he's free to join any club.
A lot of these players, though, were great players. You know, there is a doubt about whether they've still got it. That's the reason they're free agents. It would suggest that some of them probably have to drop down a level, but then it becomes a problem about wages and things like that. But it's hard to see a lot of these getting big clubs.
Yeah, I think Christian Eriksen is going to be a really interesting one. I'm not inclined to believe he wants to go to Saudi or Turkey, and maybe in a World Cup year, he'll be thinking there could be an opportunity, even still within England, potentially. And if a club takes him, he can get the game time that he's still looking for at the highest possible level. There was an approach, remember, when the window was open for him by Wrexham, and he didn't want to drop down. So unless his position has changed, I think you'd be looking at a Big Five European league for Christian Eriksen. Mikel Antonio, unfortunately, out of the game for a long time as he rehabilitated from that horrible car accident. And now he's looking for an option to get back playing football as soon as possible. I'm told he would be prepared to go to Saudi Arabia or drop down to a championship club. I think Swansea City is going to be really interesting because Luka Modric is now part of that ownership group. And from what I'm told, he's having conversations with slightly older players and free agents to try and lure them over there. And it wouldn't at all surprise me from what I hear if Swansea City and Dele Alli becomes a thing over the course of the next few weeks. I think Dele Alli won't get an opportunity, in my opinion, in a Big Five league after it didn't work out at Como. But maybe a championship club on a short-term deal would be a good move for him.
Yeah, when you look at some of the other names, Hakim Ziyech, you saw at your place, you know.
That's a bloke you want cheering you up around the training ground.
Well, a very
lovely face.
I mean, I was just wondering what had been happening to him. They say Elche in Spain might pick him up, but he's been over in Qatar, apparently. Sergio Reguilon, who was at Spurs and had a little spell at Brentford. Another one who's available. Very rarely, though, do we see the Premier League sides picking up these free agents after the window has closed, Ben.
Yeah, I think it kind of has to be emergency for Premier League clubs to go down this route because, of course, in the latter part of the window, many of them have got money to spend, as we've seen all summer, or they can do a loan deal. And that's a little bit more preferable for them sometimes because those kind of loan players tend to be ones that have had a full pre-season. Free agents keep fit, but they don't always have that ability to slot straight in. So if you think about signing a free agent now as a Premier League club, by the time they get match fit, you may find the January window allows you to buy a player and then you can be stuck with a free agent. So it's not quite the same as doing a loan, unless it's kind of a pay-as-you-play contract, which we obviously saw with Callum Wilson, for example. And that was a big selling point, allowing him to make the move to West Ham United. But I think generally free agents are looking now to get back into work, and September is their sort of mini deadline month. Because, as I say, if they leave it beyond September, you get too close to the January window. and there becomes less chance that they'll get that move. And then the other thing to look out for is players that are not free agents now, but like Dele Alli might become free agents because it suits all parties. And obviously, there's a few big profile names, such as Raheem Sterling, for example. Does he stay until January and wait for a move but play no football? Or is there a way of Chelsea and Sterling finding a way to terminate that contract and allow him to move into free agency? I'm told it's difficult because of the finances on offer. So Chelsea actually might prefer to keep Sterling. But from Sterling's point of view, he doesn't really want to leave London. So it might be beneficial for him to make a concession and move into free agency. I doubt that specific one will develop, but it's that kind of example with high-profile players that are basically not getting any game time, but are not free agents yet, but could be soon.
Yeah, when they pay, just finally on that, when they pay up a player, you may know this, but I'm sure you do, when they pay up a player's contract, say they decide they come to an agreement with Raheem Sterling, he's on what, 300 grand a week, we understand?
Good value.
And how long's he got, 2 years left? Or?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money, Ben. But if they come to some kind of arrangement and pay it up, sort of where does that leave them financially? Is it a bit of a write-off? Does that suit the club or not? Is it not a good look? Does it look bad from an accounting point of view? Does it affect PSR, etc.?
I mean, it affects your book balance, and clubs don't always want to make payoffs, especially if they think if they wait and pay a smaller portion of the wage, by January that player may make a move. Yeah. And then if they terminate the contract now, they're meeting the player halfway in likelihood, and they're surrendering a fee that might come in just a few months' time. And in addition to that, you have to think about whether or not it's actually better, if you're thin on the ground, to take a player that's out of favour, take the gamble of paying the wages in the short term, and then if you get an injury or an unforeseen circumstance, they might go back into the fold. I think Jed Spencer's a good example of that. When he was on loan at Genoa, they didn't want to take the option to buy. Tottenham at one point were thinking, do we need to get rid of this guy? He might be surplus to requirements, but they brought him back. He integrated, he played really well, he earned himself a new deal, and now he's a really important player for Tottenham. So I think that's a factor as well in clubs thinking. They don't want to be rash and just bite the bullet now because they might actually need that player potentially. And then I think the other factor in this is just you can have your cake and eat it. So, for example, if Raheem Sterling doesn't have a club, then Chelsea are not going to be inclined to terminate the contract. But if Raheem Sterling finds a club now and treats himself de facto as a free agent, if he finds a club, he can then go to Chelsea and say, the only way this club is going to sign me is now if we terminate. And if he's got a club lined up, then the player may be prepared to make more of a concession and make it a better deal for Chelsea to get out of that contract because he knows he's got something lined up. So you're going to see a fair few players that are still under contract looking for effectively free agency options and then maybe going back to the club and saying, let's now terminate. And that, from what I understand, is what happened with Nottingham Forest and Emmanuel Dennis, where Emmanuel Dennis felt confident in now finding an option. So he went to Forest and said, let's terminate on more preferable terms to the club rather than the player. And that allowed him to enter into free agency. And in likelihood, it's because he's got a move, I think, in Turkey that will be imminent in the next few days.
Interesting stuff, Ben. We promise we'll leave you alone till January now. Thanks very much.
Speak January the 1st.
Okay, all the best. There we are. This Ben Jacobs, part of
that concept. If a club wants Sterling, that's a big if, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Who's going to want him? Nobody's going to want him, is it?
Tony's been in touch. Brownhill would fit very nicely into Eddie Howe's system at Newcastle. We have no reliable cover for Tonali as Willock is often injured. I think Leeds are showing an interest, Tony, and Josh Brownhill.
He will find a club.
Oh, yeah, without a problem. I don't think Emmanuel Dennis
We were thinking, what could Fabrizio Romano do till January?
Yeah, well, as I said, Fabrizio now until January the 1st, we put him in a shoebox with some sawdust in it and some little bit of hay, and he sleeps. He sleeps until January the 1st. Nice. It's just in someone's shed. That's what happens to him. Anyway, Gregor Robertson joins us next. A former pro defends the antics, if that's the way you want to put it, of Messrs Isak and Visser. We'll do that shortly. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation, ready to help at over 580 stations nationwide. Next stop, Toolstation. Now, our biggest competition today is now live, and we're giving you the chance to win Oasis tickets plus a whopping 25 grand. 2 lucky winners, not 1 but 2, will win a pair of Oasis tickets when they return to Wembley on the 27th of September. Plus, that's not all. Alongside the tickets, we're giving you the chance to win a whopping £25,000. For all the details on how to enter this amazing competition, listen up.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Yeah, we're going to have a chat with Gregor Robertson very shortly, who leaps to the defence of Isak and Visser. He'll tell us why. And we're talking trading cards later this hour. Just a reminder, if you're into the world of trading cards, you got any questions to Jake Kirkham, who's very much involved in that world, then he'll be happy to take them. And a little bit later on, we'll cross over to England training. Faker Others will be there for us at St George's Park. In the meantime, Andy,
They could pick me against Andorra, couldn't they?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think that's, I mean, Loftus-Cheek wasn't having the best of seasons, but I think that would be a push. Imagine the shock. Andy, you won't believe it. Thomas Tuchel, he obviously remembered me from Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Shouting all the instructions that obviously made a lot of sense. And he's picked me for the Andorra
on the coaching staff, I think.
Yeah, I think you do a good job.
Brilliant, yeah. This fascinates me. The Sun, after years of hammering Gary Lineker, how many articles basically they said about Gary's salary and Gary this and Gary that?
Yeah.
They published this text. Match of the day is not the same without Gary. Thanks. Now you say it.
Yeah.
As it happens, I think it's fine, but there we go. Netflix, a Netflix insider.
Oh, yeah. Who's that?
It doesn't mention his name, actually.
Okay. Or her name. Who knows?
Their name. It doesn't say who it is.
Okay.
It says that Meghan Markle is the most powerful...
Not Meghan Smith.
No.
It's got to that stage. Just Meghan, that's enough, is it? Okay. Like
Meghan
Madonna.
is the most powerful influencer alive.
Yeah.
Not on me, she isn't. I'm not buying her £11 terrible jar of jam.
Have you watched any of the new series, Andy? I know you watch a lot of... You and your missus watch a lot of fluffy telly.
No, I could not watch that, no.
You couldn't watch that? Yeah. Tell us some of the things you do watch.
The Guest, that was good.
What's The Guest all about?
BBC One sort of gripping drama.
Oh, you like that?
That was good. Bake Off, same old really.
Neighbours.
Yeah,
you turn your nose up at Meghan in the kitchen.
Well, that's true.
Fair enough. Okay, well,
it's a very good point actually. And there's a story. Thank goodness the bloke was all right. A guy was on a stag party in a game reserve, and he was attacked by hyenas.
Wow.
Yeah, and he...
Not a laughing matter.
Not at all.
No.
He required 70 stitches, but...
Oh, wow.
Fortunately, he's all right. But it did make me think about these exotic stag do's.
I don't think... Also, I mean, look, I'm not saying drink was taken. I don't know the circumstances, but I don't think I'd be... The amount of stag do's I've got, I'm in no fit state to wander around on safari.
On a game reserve.
Yeah.
Yes, Paul gone.
He's just gone for a little walk. He saw a lion. All Millwall fans are going, stand! Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Honestly. Yeah. But why not just go on a pub crawl? I mean, I know one of our producers here, he had a whole period where he was going to Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Europe. I mean,
that's what it's like. It's an expensive. The stag do these days, you're going to have a curry and a few beers. Yeah. You actually, in the old days, when Andy got married in 1673.
That's right.
You had your stag do. I mean, now, like the stag do, the hen do is about a month before, so you get it out of your system, or months before. The night before, Andy.
The night before.
Yeah, so you were
such a terrible idea. I can't.
Quite badly hungover at your own
in
wedding.
My wedding photos, I don't look too good. What can you do? That was the way it was.
Fantastic.
I've got a reader's offer for you.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
It's not trousers, though.
Oh, that's a shame.
This is no ordinary cushion.
Oh, that's the title of someone's album, is it?
Now you can sit.
Wasn't it Sade?
Now you can sit for hours on hard seats in blissful comfort.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a cushion.
It's a cushion, yeah.
This really is no ordinary cushion.
Okay.
This is a technically superior cushion. Stop saying cushion.
High-tech cushion.
Provides your body with long-term comfort on hard wooden or plastic chairs and unforgiving car seats.
Yes, a cushion.
That's what you feel. As you read this, you just keep saying, yes, it's a cushion.
How much do they want for it? Can I pay an instalment? $14.99. I can see it. It's in massive print. I don't know, you missed it. Yeah.
I know, I missed it.
Is that Peter's Cushions, the well-known cushion company?
No idea. But it's got Sherpa fleece warmth in the winter and cooling breathability in the summer. It can't be both, can it?
It can't be.
Not really.
They can claim all they like.
Anyway,
well, thank you for that, Andy.
I'm not buying
We'll return to the world of association football next. Gregor Robertson joining us for a chat, the former Forest defender, talking about Visser and Isak and some of the interesting piece that he wrote today in the Times. So Gregor's going to join us for a chat. And as we said, trading cards we're discussing today. Tim Vicker is going to join us from Rio, and we'll be at the England training session. And yes, Talking Vests. We're going to be joined in the studio by Nut Schultz, who's from Coach Whisperers. This is a company that have been working with a number of clubs in this country. I think he's over here at the moment talking to some other Premier League teams. It's, interesting stuff. We'll tell you more about that at 3 o'clock, but we'll get the news headlines for you next.
Seven years on from his last England call-up, Ruben Loftus-Cheek felt another one was always possible under Thomas Tuchel. And it's a good job he wasn't on holiday when the text arrived from team manager Ruth Corrie.
And I said, I'm in England. And she was perfect. I was actually seeing my mum. I was at my mum's house. So it was, it was a good feeling, yeah.
Loftus-Cheek played all over midfield for Tuchel at Chelsea, even right wing back. And England versus Andorra is live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Meanwhile, former Man City defender Danny Mills has told us the club are now losing out to Liverpool and Arsenal in the transfer market. And Guardiola is struggling with the rebuild.
Have City brought in four players to improve their 11 or just to improve their squad at the moment? It's probably to improve their squad, I would say.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to go some and be almost perfect every single week.
Yeah.
to challenge for the title.
Danny told us City got their recruitment wrong previously. And as Carlos Alcaraz warms up for his US Open semi-final by playing golf with Sergio Garcia, Novak Djokovic has a few days to get his 38-year-old body ready for a serious battle.
Going to do my very best with my team to be fit for that. There's going to be a lot of running involved. That's for sure. I mean, there's not going to be short points.
For more on all the latest stories, head to talksport.com.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. As we said, we're talking trading cards a little bit later on this hour. There's a big flagship store in London's busy West End. They've been queuing around the block. It's a huge market. We're going to be joined a little bit later on by our expert in that field. He's been in to see us before, and we said we'd get him back because there was a lot of interest in his visit. Jake Kirkham joining us. But before that, there have not been too many people lining up to defend the antics of Visser and Isak. But I'd say a balanced, reasoned piece today from the which threw up some interesting talking points from the former Nottingham Forest and Chesterfield defender, Gregor Robertson, who joins us now. Hi, Gregor.
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, not millions of people queuing up, as we say, to pat them on the back. But, I mean, it's not to escape anybody's notice, really, that the guy who played it straight and did the decent thing throughout this window in Mark Gay didn't get his move. And the boys who went on strike and kicked off Isak and Visser did.
No, it's not escaped anyone's view at all, and it kind of does make you wonder whether Mark Gay will have any regrets about how he's played his hand over the summer. I just think it's not quite as straightforward as a lot of people portray the kind of this idea that there's that player power is getting out of hand, that it's causing kind of wild hysteria and havoc in the transfer market. I think we need to pan out for a moment and recognise that because of a few high-profile cases, transfer sagas, we're losing all sense of perspective about where the power lies in the relationship between football clubs and players, because every single summer, every single season, our eyes are fixed on these superstar transfers. There are scores and scores and scores of footballers who are cast aside into bomb squads, who are made to train at different schedules from the rest of their teammates, who are made to sometimes train alone, despite the fact that these things are almost certainly in breach of UK employment law. They breach FIFA regulations. The clubs do it every single year. Just to be clear, I understand that a lot of people will find what Alexander Isak and Johan Wissa and whoever else have done is a bit unpalatable. But I can also, given all that context I've just laid out, say to myself, do you know what? I don't blame them for taking some agency over their careers when so few players are allowed to do so. I understand that fans are angered by what these guys have done, and I don't blame them. But if Alexander Isak has a Premier League medal draped around his neck come the end of the season, if he has his hands on the Champions League trophy perchance, he will not give a damn.
The thing is, though, like Mark Gay, if you get to the last 12 months of your contract, the club has to sell you, don't they? I mean, if this is mad what Palace have done. They'll get him for another year. Fine, they might make Europe, they might get some money out of it. But he's going to walk away. They could have had 40 million, and he's going to benefit. He didn't want to stay there, but next summer he's absolutely going to be laughing, isn't he?
Well, I fundamentally agree with your point. That's easy for us to say. We don't know that. Like, he's been treated appallingly, I think. You're right. It's fundamentally, it's like neglectful of Palace not to have lined up at least one replacement for an England defender who's clearly very, highly coveted this summer. And I think it's certainly Oliver Glasner has let the player down as well by being so kind of forthright and, well, by the sounds of it, almost threatening to walk away if he wasn't kept at the very final moment. So, football, though, we have to also remember, is a career that comes with risk. All of us will hope that Mark Gahey gets this move in January or in the summer, and he might be even richer as a result. But he might also go into training tomorrow and get his foot caught in the turf and be out for 9 months. Or the young Italian centre-half who Liverpool signed might turn out to be an absolute star, and they might reevaluate the whole situation. So his kind of career has been upended by the decision that his employer made, which was in no one's interest.
What about somebody like, Raheem Sterling? I mean, if in the end the player has a contract, there's nothing Chelsea can do. They've just got to pay him $300,000 a week to the end of the contract, and they're stuck with him. It's their fault. They signed him. It's not his fault. He got a contract. But in that case, the club can do nothing.
No. And I'm not naive. I understand that they have to do something. They can't just let him train with the squad when he's got no chance of playing. You have to treat him with a degree of respect. And you do have to acknowledge that, yes, you've offered him that contract. This whole idea as well about players having a contract, you should never have signed a 5-year contract. Alexander Isak should never have signed a contract that has 3 years left to run if he wanted to walk away. That's not his fault. He was signed for £60 million. Newcastle aren't going to give him a 2-year deal. They want to protect their asset. So it's market forces that dictate how long a contract is. Same with Chelsea and Raheem Sterling. They want to protect an asset. So it's not Alexander Isak's fault or whoever's fault that they have long contracts. And he's entitled to feel like he's stuck in that contract. To be clear, there's a willing buyer. It's all dependent on there being a willing buyer at a fair price. And we can all agree that that was the case because it's a British record transfer. So in that instance, he's entitled to say, I want to leave.
I thought one of the interesting points you made in your piece was that the Newcastle fans and the club were very upset that one of their star players had their head turned by what they considered a very derisory offer. And that went on and became a bit of a saga. Newcastle made...
exactly the same thing.
Did exactly the same thing with Issa. Made an offer of $25 million, which unsettled the player. They ended up paying, as you said, Gregor, more than double that, $55 million, overpaying ultimately for the player, really, off the back of the Isak money. So it was the bite a bit, or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, you're being naive if you think that the football clubs who target players aren't aware, or in fact don't sometimes encourage a player or a target to make these moves, to say, I'm never going to play for the football club, yada, yada, all the stuff that we hear. And I'd also like to add that stuff it's really a performance. It's not true. This whole language about going on strike, well, kind of, fundamentally and in probably employment law is true. It's not. If Newcastle really want to keep Isak, and the window closed and he was a Newcastle player, he would have been playing in a few weeks' time. The fans, if he'd scored goals, would have forgiven and forgotten. And it would have done no one been in the interest of no one for him to rot on the sidelines for another few months. So it's a temporary withdrawal of labour, which, again, I understand people don't like the sound of, to try and get a deal done because of the glacial pace that these things move along at. And also, let's be honest, because of a transfer market, which is pretty dysfunctional.
It's. I mean, the comments from his agent. I think chatting to Jim White and Simon Jordan, the Isak's agent, are sending this cryptic message saying it's nice when you have someone to be with, but it's even nicer when you know who you will never be with again. I thought, No need for that, really.
It's a bit off, isn't it?
No, it is.
Clearly, it was quite.
I'm not defending agents.
No,
but look at Jackson's agent. On Saturday, he was absolutely slagging Chelsea off and saying this can't happen. Then afterwards, he went, "I'd like to thank Chelsea so much for allowing Nicholas to go." It was a complete change of tune, but he got what he wanted.
He did get what he wanted. It would have been a bit. I mean, we were talking about that on Monday. It would have been a bit tight on him, really, being told that we don't want you, and then
it was the right thing to
calling
let
him
him
back
go.
to play.
Well, that underlines the sort of, again, I think, underlines where the power lies. Nicholas Jackson was signed on an 8-year contract, I think, 2 years ago. He developed. He's not been the star they hoped. But, last season he was their only striker. He scored goals. They've signed 2 players to replace him, cast him aside on a whim. And then when Liam Delap pulled his hamstring, oh, no, hang on a minute. You've got to come back now, please. I don't blame him for saying, no, I'm sorry.
No,
you guys need to look after your end of this bargain. I have my career to think of. I'm 24. And the fundamental thing, which I made at the end of the article, fundamental point is, as much as everyone talks about money and, contracts and everything, these guys have been striving to achieve the best they possibly can in their football careers for their entire lives. And they're entitled to want to not just be a pawn in sort of Chelsea's vast game of recruitment.
Yeah. Good to talk to you, Gregor. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Gregor Robertson there, the former Forest and Chesterfield defender and Times columnist.
It's partly Jackson's own fault, though. He got 10 bookings the season before for nothing. None of them were a foul. He got sent off twice in 4 games, in big games that really killed Chelsea.
And it lost his rhythm,
And I think they lost faith in him.
Yeah.
So that's why they ostracised him. But, I think it was a shame because I think he's a good player. I think he'll do well for Bayern.
It was strange with him. I mean, Nkunku was the one I couldn't understand. I thought he was going to do so well for you. It's just been a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, he got an bad injury. It took him ages to get over it. He actually playing all right by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do well.
Yeah, interesting to see how he does in Italy. We're going to be England training a little bit later on. Your thoughts on what Gregor was saying there? I mean, most of us as fans, so if you're a Newcastle or a Brentford fan, you won't be feeling too good about what's gone on. But it's quite difficult to argue with that point around Isak's behaviour and Visser's behaviour, which they were the beneficiaries of, really, in similar circumstances.
It's like anything, if you sign a contract with a company and you want to leave, generally you can leave, whereas in football it's much harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes people hold you to contracts, put you on gardening leave and all that sort of thing.
We're talking trading cards next. Jake Kirkham's popping back in, and we'll talk more because there's been a big story in the last week from the world of trading cards. We'll tell you more about that shortly. We're here with Toolstation, standing behind every single tradesperson in Britain. Next stop, Toolstation. Now, last time our next guest joined us in the studio, quite a reaction. It made us realise just how much people are into trading cards. And if you saw the queues round the block of the big Fanatics flagship store in Oxford Street in London, you'll realise how big it's getting. Not just for kids, lots of adults with the money involved. It has to be for adults. So we've invited him back in. We said we'd get him in on a semi-regular basis. Jake Kirkham is from Majesty Grading Company, trading card business. Good afternoon again, Jake.
Good afternoon, guys. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. You should tell us the grading. You're a grading expert. Tell us why the grading's important, what it is in the world of trading cards.
Yeah, so grading authenticates the item, so makes it much genuine first off, and then we give it a score out of 10 in terms of the condition.
Yeah.
So the better the quality of the card, the more it sells for, essentially. And then we encapsulate it so it's tamper-sealed, tamper-proof, so it can be sold anywhere in the world, and everyone knows that is, perfect card, perfect condition.
And if you pull one of these rare cards, it is very lucrative, isn't it? Last time you came in, you were talking of a card that went for hundreds of thousands of pounds. In this case, this isn't bad, though. A young teenager at the event we were just talking about took out an Erling Haaland card, a Topps card, £15,000.
Yeah, so we're kind of expecting it to go for anywhere from £8,000 to £15,000. The reason why this one is so special, I've got it here and I'll pass it down for you. You can see it's match worn and a bit of his badge. I mean,
wow,
that is a stunning card, and it's the only one in the world again. So one of one, signed by the man as well, and then obviously encapsulated by ourselves, and it's been graded, authenticated, and then given a grade, auto grade 10.
There's something about that plastic casing that it comes in, because last time you came in, you gave me a Lamine Yamal one. Which
same here. Yeah,
worth much, but I gave it.
You've been doing your research, though, I can see.
No, but I gave it to my grandson on Saturday at the match, and he was so excited. He's only 8, and he loved it. I said to him, "Look, you hang on to that for about all of them Yamal's career.
Yeah, by the time he's managing Barcelona, it might be worth.
It might be worth something. So
no, that's it. That's it. I mean, that's the thing. I think cards on their own look great and stuff. It's quite fun to rip, but especially kids, you collect them, you put them in your pockets when you were younger, weren't you? You kind of chucked them in a drawer.
Yeah.
This way, it kind of makes sure they're, sealed and preserved forever.
Pristine, absolutely.
Exactly that.
But you were saying these boxes are £200 a box.
Yep.
So it's a bit of a punt.
Yep.
You might get a 15-grand one, you might not.
Exactly that. I mean, you kind of see it all the time. We open a lot of boxes up and you sometimes get something not very good. And then, lo and behold, you pull a Lionel Messi autograph or a Cristiano Ronaldo autograph or a Lamine Yamal or an Erling Haaland. So people are definitely chasing after the bigger players. But then there's also a collecting side of it as well. So I will only collect Tottenham cards, really. That's what I collect. Someone else might collect Chelsea and stuff like that, might collect Arsenal. So we kind of see it all the time. People are paying a little bit more for different cards.
What's your holy grail Tottenham card? What would you love to get, Jake, if you could?
Well, I've already completed.
Brian Hill. Brian Hill. You're not going to get a match-worn shirt from Brian Hill. That would be incredibly rare.
Yeah, that's it. That would be good.
You won't find a dirty match-worn shirt. Anyway, well, actually, you will, because he would have gone down under a tackle he wouldn't have got a free kick for.
That's it. I mean, for me, personally, mine was always Harry Kane. Massive Harry Kane fan.
Yeah.
So the one I've got is a one-of-one Harry Kane with a bit of his England badge in there, so what he wore on an England shirt, which I think is brilliant. And it gives me the ability as well to sell that to other people, because, not many people that, don't like Tottenham aren't going to buy that card.
No.
But obviously if it's an England badge on there, they will collect it and still buy it.
So the way sometimes some of the boxes are more expensive than others.
Yep.
And this is because the card companies have put into those more expensive boxes, and they can't guarantee it, but there's more of a chance that there'll be a more lucrative card in it.
Yeah, so you start all the way down from your match attacks as such. So your match attacks when you grew up, probably, seeing them and stuff like that. They start from like £2-3 in a shop kind of thing. Yeah. And you might get something good in there, but it's 1 in a million chance you're going to get an autograph out of there. And then as you start moving up the tier and go into the Fanatic store, they've got some products in there which go for, silly money, but, you're guaranteed better players in there, better hits, more autographs, all that kind of stuff.
Are they selling your graded cards in the Fanatic shop?
They do, yeah. Yeah, they do sell them in there. They buy and sell them in the Fanatic store there. I mean, we've got 36 stores in the UK that kind of buy and sell kind of our graded slabs and stuff. So, yeah, it's quite a cool
thing. You've got a YouTube channel as well, haven't you?
We're on YouTube, on Instagram, all that kind of stuff there as well, yeah. So just trying to promote the world about card collecting.
I was going to ask you, we talked about this before the interview started, who's responsible for putting these cards in the box, and is it open to corruption? I mean, you don't know.
I always worry about that, and you have to kind of take, you have to look at the manufacturers and how big they are. I always say, would Topps ever do anything that's, can essentially, kind of corrupt.
No,
And
they
probably for the money that they're making by selling these boxes, it'd be silly to do it.
Of course, yeah.
However, there's been scandals in the past. A famous basketball player, Luka Doncic, his mum was signing the autographs on the cards. And it was a big scandal. And they came out and put their hands up and said, "Yeah, we shouldn't have been doing this."
They gave it away when she put Doris Doncic. That didn't really help, did it?
That's it.
Didn't really help.
Yeah, was a little bit. I've brought a very expensive box for you here. So this box is anywhere from about £700 to £1,000.
Show the camera.
Where are we looking? Just over here?
Yeah, that's
so
black gold.
Black gold from 2016-17.
Wow.
So I opened one of these recently, and I really got mudded. So I ended up putting a Matt Ritchie, which obviously isn't very good.
Sorry,
no
Matt.
disrespect, Matt. Freddie Lundberg, which isn't too bad, and then a Nicola Berti, which obviously you know about as well. So I bought them, which is okay, but we want a Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that. So I'm going to open this up for you guys.
Here we go. Look at that. The black gold.
We opened one last time, didn't we? It wasn't as good.
No, I got something in the last one of interest. I seem to remember.
Oh, there's something very, very intriguing.
Yeah. So here we go.
And exciting.
I can see Andy getting into this. So we can open these up, can we?
Open them up and go one by one. These are like the creme de la creme. These are very high-end packs.
Right.
So if you have
we know if we find one that's worth a fortune, we've got to give it to you. We know that. You made
that's
that
all good.
You made that quite clear.
If it's no good, then
I've got. I kick you off then with Volkan Demirel. Volkan Demirel. There is the.
Okay, and that's numbered at the top there. You'll see.
Yes. What's the number there? Okay. Yep. 96.
Oh, that's class, isn't it?
That's good. Gabor Kirali. Do you remember he used to wear those mad tracksuit trousers?
I'm suggesting this might be better. I've got a Dani Alves here, which is thicker. What's going on there? What have we got?
Yes, that's got a man of the match relic in it. So a man of the match relic in there, like a silver one, which is quite cool.
Yeah. Okay. And that one is noticeably sort of thick because they have to get that stuff in there. Okay. We then move on to Matteo Damian in his Italy shirt, and that's autographed.
That's autographed, yeah.
Again,
that's a very nice card.
Would that be worth something?
It'd be worth about £200, that card there.
Okay.
So you got your money in the box. You got your money back. Because I've also got Marko Arnautovic signed. So that's
not bad at all, to be fair.
Okay.
Not bad. What's the Austria kit there? There we go.
Right.
Marko Arnautovic there. Not a bad one there.
Okay.
Now that is really nice.
Wow.
Well, this is exciting.
That is really nice.
This is Manuel Neuer.
Yes.
Silver Star.
Wow.
What does that
I mean, you're probably looking around about £100 to £150 for that card there. Not millions, but it's still very, very nice indeed. It's a really nice one.
And I've got a bog standard Kingsley Coman, but he's got a kind of background on it. But that's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. But that one there, he did score in the World Cup final, didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
So those ones with a bit of bit of man of the match award, the Dani Alves,
Yep.
and the Damian signed, they'd be worth a bit of money.
They'd be worth a bit, yeah. But I think we paid £700 to £1,000 for that box.
Right.
And we've probably only got around about maybe £300 back for that.
Okay.
Definitely a loss in that one there. But if we hit a Lionel Messi auto, then we're talking 10, 20, 30,000 potentially.
So they're the risks you take as a business. Yeah, that's it. That's the pun.
I mean, if you collect these things and they come in a nice, like this Manuel Neuer with a nice box, they make a nice thing to collect.
Oh, they're brilliant.
They really do.
I mean, if you see people's man caves and the different trading cards and stuff like that they've got there, it's pretty cool indeed.
I've got a whole series of baseball ones I bought. They're all plastic things, and they were quite expensive. So
I mean, some of the baseball cards go for crazy money. We saw a Mickey Mantle recently, I think, sell for something like £6 million.
The Honus Wagner, wasn't it?
Honus Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Do
one.
you know why that card's so famous, the Honus Wagner?
Well, there are only 5. There was a misprint, wasn't there?
What it was is he wasn't a fan of kids getting into smoking cigarettes.
Right. No. Who is?
Who is, to be
honest?
fair? Who is?
I'm very pro it. I'm a big fan. Yeah, that's right.
But you think about
Buying fags for kids all the time.
So what happened was he was like, well, they're being put into cigarette cases.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm not happy with that. Let's ban that. I don't want my card anything to do with it. So they poured them into a lake, into a river, even worse as well, now damaging the environment, and only 5 were pulled out. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, on that front, Chris has been in touch. He said, could you ask Jake, I've got a Stanley Matthews cigarette card that was my dad's.
Oh, I love those cigarette cards.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
He was just interested, would it be worth anything? Something
well, I mean, Stanley Matthews, a legendary player in that sense there. So, yeah.
There would have been a lot of them, wouldn't there? Unless it's signed or it's got something
There would be, but then the thing is as well, back then, not many people were collecting.
No.
So similar to the fact people weren't grading cards and protecting them, people weren't sleeving them. So condition on a card like that is critical.
Right.
So if that's in a perfect condition, you're looking at a very expensive card. If it's not in a good condition, then it probably just goes into the standard kind of pile of, maybe £20-30. But in a good condition, in a grade 10, you're probably looking around about £1,500 for that if it grades perfectly.
It's got a bit of Stanley's shirt.
Yeah.
53 fine.
Quick one. They put their name on this. Joe, I've got a Saka. You'll know. I've got a Saka 3-5 Crack the Jogo Tops card. Does that make any sense?
It does, yeah. So it'll be a Tops Chrome Jogo Bonito card, I imagine.
Okay, yeah.
And it's numbered to 5. So there's
Right.
only 5 of that in the world. Definitely worth something. I mean, Arsenal have a really big fan base, which obviously being a Tottenham fan, it's a bit frustrating. But we've been looking recently at the trends of different kind of players and stuff like that. And Eze, his card price at the moment are just going through the roof, because the beautiful thing about it is Crystal Palace fans still collect him because he left in good terms.
Yeah.
Arsenal fans have just been buying him up because they're really excited about it. And then we look on the flip side of Isak for Newcastle, just gone for a record signing. So we're all thinking his prices should go up, really, but they've gone the opposite way because all the Newcastle fans don't want his cards anymore and they're just offloading them. So,
right. It's got a real world life then, as a
exactly that. It's like a stock market sometimes. You kind of watch it going up and down and seeing the things going up.
So if you're a Newcastle fan who invested heavily in an Isak, it's a bit like having the Isak tattoo. You're not quite as keen anymore.
Yeah.
So what do you think that might be worth for young Joe who's got in touch?
The Saka out of 5, I mean, graded a 10, you're probably looking around about £300 to £400 for that card.
Okay.
There. So not bad at all.
I don't know what they paid for it. He said it's ungraded. Any idea on value? Hopefully that's helpful, Joe. I better give you this one back for the young lad who was...
Yeah, that's it.
The Erling Haaland. Well, lovely to see you again, Jake. Again, we've had an interesting response.
Very interesting.
Lots more questions coming in now. So we will get you back.
Sounds good.
We'll try and get you back on a semi-regular basis and keep us updated. And you're letting us know about any...
Yeah, well, I'll keep finding good stories for you guys, and we'll keep finding big cards and keep telling the people about it.
Brilliant. And people can go and find... Where's your website?
So the best place to find us is where we create most of our content is MGC_UK on Instagram. So check us out on there, and you'll be able to find us on there. So, that's the best place to find us.
Lovely. Good to
nice
see
one.
you, Jake.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Jake Kirkham there from Majesty
Really?
Yeah,
Grading.
you can keep them, yeah. Not a problem.
Oh, thanks.
You're keeping your cards. Look at that.
Building a rattle collection.
I have.
You've got mine and all of you.
Made my grandchildren very happy. What are you?
Thanks a lot, guys.
Lovely. All the best. Take care. Thank you, Jake. There we are. Andy's off. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Still to come this afternoon. We're going to be talking about, talking vests in a bit of sporting technology for you. And Tim Vickery joins us.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was at his mum's house when he got the text from the England camp. It's been a long time coming for the AC Milan midfielder. A string of injuries sparked a 7-year absence from the England camp.
A lot of that period was tough mentally for my head, you know, with the injury and trying to come back and feel good again. And after that, I'd say after about a year and a half, 2 years, I felt myself again.
England's World Cup qualifier against Andorra is live on Saturday afternoon here on talkSPORT. So too the trip to Serbia on Tuesday night. Now, Alexander Isak is in great spirits ahead of Sweden's World Cup qualifier against Slovenia. That's according to Jon Dahl Tomasson, who says he'll treat the British record transfer with care.
So is he able to play 90 minutes? Of course not. Are we going to do stupid things? No, we are not going to do any stupid things with him. So we have a plan, but he's smiling and he's happy to be here.
Never mind Kevin De Bruyne and Luka Modric moving to Serie A this summer. It's all about one Englishman knocking on the door of 40. That's according to Italian football expert Daniele Fischiella, whose fantasy football WhatsApp groups are abuzz.
There's only one name that is circulating since a couple of weeks, and that's Jamie Vardy. Everyone wants Jamie Vardy. It's really almost a marquee signing that has overshadowed the other signings that come to Italy, from De Bruyne to Modric this summer.
And Eastleigh defender Archie Harris has been discharged from hospital after a collision with Scunthorpe's Jean Boulhuin last night. The incident in the 7th minute of stoppage time caused the match to be postponed. It was poised at 1 goal apiece. Boulhuin, who travelled back overnight on the team bus, is said to be feeling much better and is grateful to the well-wishers. Plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Father Ted creator Graham Linehan is taking the Met Police to court after they arrested him for tweets about trans activists. And Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has admitted she did pay too little stamp duty when she bought her second home. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Come rain or shine, wherever and whenever suits you with our mobile tyre fitting service. Now that will have you driving away happy every time. Conditions apply.
There's a fair bit of rain around, with a yellow warning for thunderstorms covering most of England and South Wales. Some strong winds as well.
Hawksbee Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Tim Vickery joins us from Rio as always. We'll look at all the big stories from the world of South American football this week. We'll be at England training with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers. That's all to come. Now, you'll be aware of the GPS vest that footballers wear to train and playing, picking up all the data from their performances. Our next guest is going to tell us a pretty exciting development on that front. They're a company called Coach Whisperer. And these are talking vests. These are the GPS vests that allow them to communicate with the players whilst they train, and a whole bunch of other things. Knut Schultz joins us from Coach Whisperer now. Knut, good to see you.
Good to see you. Nice to be here. Thank you.
So, look, I think I've sort of briefly explained it. Was that broadly right, what I said there?
That was broadly right, yeah. That was pretty good.
And how did this come about? Was it the coaches saying to you, wouldn't it be great if we could communicate, or did you feel there was that kind of gap in the market?
Yeah, there's a gap in the market because football is wide spaces, so actually you have to bridge with the voice a lot of distance, and that problem was on every pitch in every country in the world. So actually somehow we looked at the problem, and the company was founded 4 years ago in Jena, East Germany, out of the university. Mm-hmm. And then the idea grew by the founders, and now we are bringing it to the market.
So how does it communicate with the player?
So actually the system looks very similar to the GPS system. You have a sending mask and you have receivers, and then you have a vest like the GPS vest, similar, and our vest has the special feature. It's a loudspeaker. Mm-hmm. So you have a tiny loudspeaker on the shoulder, And I brought the flashy one here to look better, otherwise it's black. And
Right.
you wear it down, so you have a loudspeaker on the shoulder pad. And this loudspeaker enables the coach to call you.
Right. And so that can be done collectively. So you can say, let's stop the session, say to the whole team collectively, want you to be doing this, want you to be doing that, or can speak to an individual player as well.
Yes, it's for the individual. It's for parts of the team, like the back four, the strikers. It's for the opposite side where you have difficulties to reach the side. You can talk. And you can talk to the whole team. But actually, special cases where you would say, I talk to my back four and my number 6 and my goalkeeper in the build-up, it's very difficult to coach. But this enables you to precisely address these players.
I'm sure the coaches love it, but there have been a lot of complaints that the players are a bit like robots now. They're so overcoached. They're coached within an inch of their life that they can't. That's why we see so much negative football, because there's so much emphasis on keeping the ball and nobody really trying anything. Are you not concerned that, especially if this ever got into a match situation, that is a problem?
In the match, the coaches would love that because they could address to the player very directly, because in the stadium they don't hear anything. It's too loud. Let's break it down. So either being precisely communicating doesn't mean to create joystick players. This is always the responsibility of the coaches to be as precise in just communicating. And as well, if you look at academy work, you got more ball rolling time because you don't have to interrupt the sessions.
Yeah. They obviously got to be quite robust. You've just shown us the little speaker there.
Yeah.
Because it's a contact sport. It's not just football. You're involved in hockey and other sports as well. So again, they don't come off, do they?
No, they don't come off. You can bring them home. Your wife can wash them, or you by yourself.
Yes.
Whatever you like. So that's possible. We try to keep it as simple as possible. But actually, still, I would say the whole technical world around football is getting smaller and more tiny. So we are as well trying to keep it as simple as possible.
You could get one for your partner. Say,
yeah,
Mum, away home, put the dinner on.
Yeah. Well, and we got mobile phones.
Oh
for
yeah, I
that.
forgot about that.
Yeah, but the benefit is you cannot talk back to your wife. You're just receiving.
I'm never going to do that anyway. The other thing I read ahead of you coming in was that sometimes you get kind of stadium effects. They try and a bit of a match simulation. Is that something you do as well?
Yeah, looking now at European qualifiers, EuroLeague, Conference League, you have penalty shootouts. How to train them? You train on a quiet ground in some lovely countryside in Britain, which is not a stadium, and even for young players, it's very difficult to get the stress, and it's a learning in the brain. You have to adapt to the stress in the stadium. So this is a point you can put in, as well as some kind of music or stuff to create a better atmosphere.
So I take it, sound quality wise, they're very good. I mean, it's not just kind of a little tinny voice appearing from your shoulder. It must sound quite strong.
Yeah, it's not super surround stereo high fidelity quality for sure, but actually it's not plastic speaking as well.
Yeah. And could you ever foresee a situation where players wore these in games? So you've got the set piece coaches saying you're not close enough for a set, but you're not close enough to their centre half. You're not doing this. You're not doing that.
I think we will see that soon, because we already talked.
Absolute disaster. Really.
It's great in training.
Please don't do that.
The coaches would love that.
I know they would, but they're already killing the game anyway. Honestly, it's not good.
Yeah, we don't want to create joystick players for sure. But actually, what we have as a feature, and just maybe to bridge your point, is we have the feature of a translation tool. So actually, you're signing a Brazilian player for £50 million, and he doesn't speak a word of English.
That's
so what do you do then? And it's now in the terms of player care to get a better adaptation to them in the first month. So actually, that tool can help you.
Yeah, the translation tool sounds very good. So it's certainly in the early days of a player where they're coming in, they haven't really got much English. Say if they're playing in the Premier League, that is very useful. That you can get. So how is it? Is it a complete? Is it a sort of an instant translation?
It is instant, but actually the commands are not fast enough in the moment for football, because it goes up to Elon Musk and down from Elon Musk, so it takes a little bit of time. But actually everything what we are talking now and explain, where you normally use translators, so people, that enables the coaches to be more accurate.
The benefits in training, definitely, when you're trying to drill a team. In American football, though, they do have this in the game, don't they? They have it. The quarterback has a
quarterback has it.
Hear the quarterback coach in his helmet.
Yeah, and defensive one player as well, but actually only the two, so not the team. And still there you have the problem with the shapes and the big distances. So actually to bridge stadium atmosphere where as a player you don't hear anything.
You might see the captain wearing one. That might be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, not just, I know you say you've worked in other sports. Excuse me, I saw Julian Draxler on your website talking up the virtues of the product. So what other sports are you working in, and what sort of clubs are you working with in football?
Yeah, we are really proud as a small German company to crack down into the Premier League. So actually being here is a really big step for us. We have Bundesliga clients now. So we made our first move in the big leagues. So this is, let's say, football-wise, and as well we are strong in hockey. So we equipped national teams for the Olympics for Paris. What is not in the moment in our way is the indoor sports, because it's a bit of a technical issue, but this will come in the next 2 years where we go in helmet. So actually American football will be, and ice hockey will be our target as a next target.
So say, I mean, obviously professional football clubs, especially Premier League clubs, can afford whatever this costs if they want it. But say you want it for your local team, is it practical? Can you ever see and envisage a situation where they could be affordable? And tell us how much they are now.
They are, in the moment, they are £35,000.
Right.
So this is not for the lowest league, but actually, you as a sponsor are welcome to sponsor your team with that. So happy to make you a good price.
Yeah, interesting.
You had a beep, yeah.
And I say you've been over here talking to Premier League clubs. Has the response been positive from them?
Yes, so Brighton was our first client in England as a really, really forward-thinking club. So actually Brighton has an attitude to approach technique very openly.
Yeah.
And now we are in talks with some other London clubs where I'm meeting later in the day. And we had a meeting as well with the Premier League. So we are good on the way to make our path in England.
Well, good stuff. Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for coming in. We wish you well. It's an interesting development. And let's hope we'll see a few more Premier League clubs doing it. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Shorts, the coach whisperer there. Thanks to him.
It's good.
We're going to be joined by Tim Vickery, our South American correspondent. Maybe Tim, we'll put you in touch with. You can put you in touch with Botafogo and Corinthians and stuff.
Well connected.
Yeah. Tim joins us next. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Next stop, Tool Station. Time once again to talk South American football. Now the window has slammed shut with our man in Rio, Tim Vickery. Good afternoon, Tim.
Afternoon, gentlemen. How you doing?
Not too bad. We're going to start with Luis Suarez at it again. Of course, he's never a stranger to controversy. Alleged that he spat at one of the Seattle coaching staff.
Doesn't look good on the video.
No, they beat Miami 3-0. The precedent is that they've given some, 3-4 game bans for these sorts of incidents. He doesn't learn, does he? Never going to change.
No,
not going to change now.
It's what he is. And he spent a year in Brazil. And he just astonished everyone with his professionalism and his commitment. And he's got that mentality that, as far as he's concerned, every game is a statement of his worth as a footballer. But he crosses the line, and it looks, from the film that we've seen, he seems to have crossed the line very, very badly. He is what he is, the rough and the smooth.
He was a great player.
As Willie Rushton might have said, crunchy, no, chewy. There's a little bit of both in him.
You only get a chance to revisit incredibly old ads that no one remembers when Tim's on.
So old.
That ad was still on when Tim lived here.
But during the Club World Cup, you saw really a player way beyond his time, really. He just looked slow and he was brilliant at Liverpool, but I was during the Club World Cup, I just looked at him and thought, you should be packing it in, mate.
Well, you wonder. I do worry about what his knees are going to be like in later life.
Yeah.
And he could hardly train when he was in Brazil, and he wouldn't play on the artificial surfaces. And there were times when he was in real pain out there on the field. So I fear that he's paying a price for extending his career. But it's what he does. It's what he loves doing.
Martin, the Forest fan, he says, do Botafogo have any players left after the transfer? Four players. 4 players.
They do, yeah, because one of the 4 has come straight back.
Oh.
Cuiabano, the left back or left-sided midfielder, who signed on deadline day, has immediately been loaned back to Botafogo. So they've got him. This is all part of a deal going on between Marinakis at Forest and John Textor, who's trying not to get pushed out of Botafogo and is financially strapped. So they've obviously got a kind of sweet thing going on. So it's just the 3 Botafogo players that Forest have at the moment. Although Danilo went the other way. The midfielder, he went to Botafogo, and Fulham came in for him big time during the window, and Botafogo said, no, you can't have him.
John Victor was linked with West Ham, wasn't he? What are they getting?
They're getting a terrific goalkeeper.
Yeah,
really good goalkeeper. They had a Brazilian backup last year, Carlos Miguel, who didn't get many opportunities and didn't cover himself in glory, and has moved back to Brazil. John is much better, much more experienced, lithe, flexible. Could easily be in the Brazil squad. It really wouldn't be an injustice if he were in the Brazil squad. So they've strengthened the squad, and that's someone who's going to put pressure on Sales.
Igor Jesus and Jair Cunha, they're the other players, aren't they?
Yeah, Igor Jesus is a class act. And Chris Wood is reaching the veteran stage. Igor Jesus is going to get game time. And I don't know if you saw Botafogo beat Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup. He was a one-man forward line. He's really, really good, Igor Jesus. Jair Cunha is a giant centre-back who I think is very raw, and he's not getting on the bench at the moment, and I think he might need some time on a training ground.
Fulham didn't have the greatest window, but they got Kevin over the line in the end. So what can Fulham fans expect from Kev? Kev, as he's going to be known.
Great. It is great.
Fantastic.
There's a Brazilian Kevin. Yeah. And I love the fact that, Carlos Valderrama, the frizzy-haired, great Colombian central midfielder, he's got a kid called Kevin. So there's a Kevin Valderrama up there somewhere. The interesting thing, I think, with Kevin, he's yet another one who came up the ranks with Palmeiras, winger. But he was behind Luis Guilherme in the queue. Although he's a couple of years older, he was behind, so he hardly got a game. I think he might have played 10 games for Palmeiras, almost all of them off the bench. So we didn't see very much of him. But look in the differences in what's happened subsequently. Luis Guilherme, the plunge straight into the Premier League. And West Ham have been complaining about not being able to spend money because of financial fair play regulations and so on. They spent more than 20 million on a player who they've got nothing out of so far. So you wonder, in the case of Luis Guilherme, was that whole thing premature? Kevin goes to Ukraine has a terrific season, builds up momentum, builds up confidence, and now Fulham have spent the amount of money on him, which means that they can't just leave him to languish. He's going to get opportunities. So it makes you wonder if the kind of step-by-step approach is better than just diving into the Premier League at the first opportunity.
Chelsea have got 3 Brazilian players now, and I know the fans have fallen in love with Esteval. He really is quite a special player, isn't he?
He's adapted quickly, Tim. As you often say, look, he's a young lad, give him time, these players. But
Seems to have a good football brain.
He's hit the ground running, hasn't he?
He is special, not just for the talent as well. When his coach at Palmeiras, I remember about a year ago him just making this appeal to the club, don't sell him. He's different from anything I've ever seen ever.
Yeah.
And part of that is his mentality as well. He would always use Estevão as a opportunity to show other young players, look, when it doesn't come off, his head doesn't drop. He'll do it again. And, the West Ham game, when, a little bit of trickery in the wrong zone of the field and he gives away an early goal for West Ham, does it affect him? Not in the slightest. He then gets on with the task of taking West Ham to pieces. So I think he's a very, very special talent. And I think this is potentially, it's something that Premier League hasn't quite had. An absolute top of the line Brazilian superstar in their prime. Because they've all wanted to go Real Madrid or Barcelona. And he's been seduced by Chelsea.
Might, don't worry about it. Well, maybe we'll get a couple of years out of it.
We got an Anfield completist got in touch. Ian says, can you ask Tim about Luis Fernandez Lubel, who has joined the coaching staff on a slot at Liverpool? Do you know much about him?
No, I don't know much about him. I'll take this as homework and see if I can find anything for next week. I know I'm letting you down. I know it weighs heavy on my conscience, but,
If Thomas Frank learned anything about his players in that pretty woeful performance against Bournemouth, one of them would be, don't play Richarlison when he's just about to get back in the Brazil squad and he's getting the flight on Sunday. I mean, the internationals are coming up. There's some big matchups, some big games, Tim.
Well, most of it, I mean, there's 6 out of the 10 countries, there's 6 automatic qualifying places. So Argentina have qualified as a stroll. Ecuador and Brazil are already there. Barring a mathematical miracle, Uruguay and Paraguay are there as well, which leaves one place. Colombia will get it. It's the penultimate round tomorrow if they beat Bolivia at home. And if you can't beat Bolivia at home, you don't deserve to go. There is a slight bit of panic stations in Colombia. There's 6 games without a win. And they've called up a striker who will be 40 in about 10 days' time, Dairo Moreno. He's been on a Latin American tour in a very lengthy career, collecting both plaudits and fines for indiscipline. He's a bit of a wild child, a bit of a wild old man now, but I'm delighted. I went to a game just to see him a couple of months ago, and he's still got the flicks and tricks, but he hasn't got the pace anymore. Brazil playing in a Maracanã, which is because of Ancelotti. Ancelotti said, I'm Brazil coach. We're going to play in a Maracanã. They're playing against a Chile team who can't qualify. They've got a standing coach, and they've picked a squad looking at 2027. The goalkeepers, there's Lawrence Vigouroux, I think, who started at Tottenham and is now at Swansea. And an American-born, I think, Vicente Reyes, who was at Norwich and is now at Peterborough. They stand between Brazil and a hefty thrashing. And there's a huge Premier League influence in this because Alisson's in goal, Gabriel Magalhães at centre-back. The centre of midfield is Casemiro and Bruno Guimarães. And it looks like he's going to go 4 up front. And Estevão's going to be in. Martinelli's going to be in, and part of this is because Vinny Jr. is suspended. But also, this is the big opportunity, centre forward for João Pedro. That move to Chelsea and what he did during the Club World Cup, that did wonders for the visibility of João Pedro back in Brazil. And so tomorrow night really is his night, because what seemed to be a problem position for Brazil suddenly looks a little bit easier centre forward. Richarlison getting a good pre-season in and looking sharp. João Pedro, Mateus Cunha, who's had to pull out of the squad because he's injured. Igor Jesus is a contender as well. And there's a fella at home called Caio Jorge who didn't quite come off in Italy, but he's doing very well in Brazil at the moment. So it had looked like a weak position. Suddenly there's a lot of competition for it. And João Pedro can do himself a lot of favours tomorrow night, knocking in 1 or 2 against Chile.
We'll look back on those games when we catch up with you next week. Tim, thanks very much.
My pleasure, thank you.
Tim Vickery there, our man on South American football. We'll have a Paddy's challenge for you next. Fletch will be in to take us through that. And we'll join Faye Carruthers at England training as well a little bit later, and you'll be hearing from some of the England players on duty ahead of the game against Andorra at the weekend, live on talkSPORT.
Seven years on from his last England call-up, Ruben Loftus-Cheek felt another one was always possible under Thomas Tuchel. And it's a good job he wasn't on holiday when the text arrived from team manager Ruth Corrie.
And I said, I'm in England. And she was perfect. I was actually seeing my mum. I was at my mum's house. So it was, it was a good feeling, yeah.
Loftus-Cheek played all over midfield for Tuchel at Chelsea, even right wing back. And England versus Andorra is live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Meanwhile, former Man City defender Danny Mills has told us the club are now losing out to Liverpool and Arsenal in the transfer market, and Guardiola is struggling with the rebuild.
Have City brought in four players to improve their 11, or just to improve their squad at the moment? It's probably to improve their squad, I would say.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to go some and be almost perfect every single week to challenge for the title.
Danny told us City got their recruitment wrong previously. And as Carlos Alcaraz warms up for his US Open semi-final by playing golf with Sergio Garcia, Novak Djokovic has a few days to get his 38-year-old body ready for a serious battle.
Going to do my very best with my team to be fit for that. There's going to be a lot of running involved. That's for sure. I mean, there's not going to be short points.
For more on all the latest stories, head to talksport.com.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Hawksbee Jacobs. What critics are calling one of the many radio quiz segments happening this week. Paddy Power. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Yes, time now for Paddy's Challenge, our quiz for charity in association with our friends and official betting partner, Paddy Power. In Paddy's Challenge, we put our knowledge of the wonderful world of sports to the test with a chance of raising lots of cash for our nominated charities. I'm playing for the Sporting Memories Network and Andy is raising funds for Duchenne UK. Helping to manage proceedings, as always, is your king of overnights from Friday. It is guest quizmaster Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon, Fletch.
Very good afternoon. Thank you for that introduction.
You'll be joining us. Yeah, you'll be on overnights from 1 a.m. Friday.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Yeah, totally. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy.
I'll try to.
Yes.
Social life's taking a kick in, but there we go. Hello. Luckily, I've got no mates. So, in Paddy's Challenge, you'll each be asked 3 multiple choice questions, usually posed by the voice of Paddy Power, Alistair McGowan, but he's away this week.
Oh.
So, I bet I got covered last week. Who was in last week?
Clinky,
wasn't it?
Ollie Clink did it for you. He did all the voices, just like you.
I bet he did.
And he trashed the management here. He did everything.
Yeah, he did everything you do.
Yeah. Clinky, if you're listening, did it first, did it better.
Yeah.
So listen, the winner will be the player that scores the most points in the event of a tie. You'll both win the chance to raise some cash for your charities. Andy, you won last week, and back to Benjamin Chesko to score in United's EFL Cup match against
Should have done. He had a
Town.
great chance at the end. I was so annoyed with him.
They lost it on penalties. The game ended 2 apiece, of course. United's goals came from Mbumo and Maguire. No win there. Let's see if we can raise some more cash for your charities this week. The virtual coin toss has taken place off air, and I can reveal it is Andy who's going first on this occasion. So, in Mr. McGowan's absence, if the highly paid technical team is ready, with head of technical people, Bill, watching eerily through the glass. I can see him.
Yeah, keeping them on their toes.
Yeah, keeping him on his toes.
Here we go.
Yes, here we go. Question 1. Andy, Chelsea's 2-0 win against Fulham last weekend featured a controversial VAR decision that took ages to be confirmed.
Yes.
How many minutes elapsed before referee Rob Jones confirmed Fulham's opener was indeed disallowed?
Were you counting them? Let's find out.
I thought it was 4.5.
You have to.
I have to give you
multiple choice, isn't it?
I've only been in Mallorca a week. Sorry.
Yeah.
A, 4 minutes. B, 5 minutes. Or C, 6 minutes.
I think it's 4.5, 5 minutes or 4 minutes.
Wow, it's a big question, Andy. Go for it.
5 minutes.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It was 4 minutes.
Oh, for goodness sake, you steered me wrong.
Oh dear.
Unbelievable.
That's unfair because I knew the answer.
Maybe it was 4:29, so they went nearer 4 minutes.
I have to go by what's written down.
Yeah.
Complaints at talksport.co.uk.
Okay.
Feedback at
Robbed.
offbox.org.
You were there, Andy. Anyway,
Well, he was right. I also got it right.
Okay.
I'd love to carry this on, but I'm being shouted at in my ear because Biggins British Jobsworth is on the line. Paul, question 1. Alexander Isak, and good afternoon, Dak. Alexander Isak has signed for Liverpool for a reported £125 million record British fee. How many goals did he score in the Premier League for Newcastle last season? Was it A, 33, B, 28 or C, 23?
28. Oh dear.
It was 23. The Magpies dramatically changed their not-for-sale stance on the eve of deadline day, as we know, so nobody off the mark
just in the
yet.
Premier League, sorry, yeah.
Question 2, Andy.
Otherwise you were right.
Who scored the opening goal at Everton's new stadium on Sunday, August the 24th? Was it A, Ilman Ndiaye, B, James Garner, or C, Jack Grealish?
It was Ndiaye.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
1 point to Andy.
It was indeed. Great symmetry as Ndiaye also scored Everton's final goal at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
There's one for a pub quiz, if you get invited to those. Yeah. Paul, question 2.
You won't be. You're working at 1 a.m. in the
Is
morning.
anyone actually invited?
Yeah. Go on there.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
Very exclusive, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Question 2. Jack Grealish has now made club history at Everton after his 2 assists in last weekend's game versus Wolves. He's the first player to register 2 or more assists in consecutive league appearances for the Toffees. Against which team did he register his first pair of assists? Was it A, Bournemouth, B, Brighton, or C, Brentford? All the Bs.
Wasn't it Brentford?
Oh,
I've
dear,
got it.
oh
I'm
dear.
having a mare.
Actually, Brighton.
Difficult question.
Surely a shoe-in, it says here, for Thomas Tuchel's 2026 World Cup squad. We'll get a steer on that shortly.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So, Andy, an opportunity for you here to win the thing. Question 3. In the US, which National Women's Soccer League team has made Lisbeth Oval the most valuable women's player in the world with a transfer reportedly worth $1.1 million? Was it A, Orlando Pride, B, San Diego Wave, or C, Washington Spirit?
Orlando Pride.
Good one.
Oh, how did you know that?
Read it.
The transfer breaks the previous record set by Arsenal only last month when the Champions League holders signed Canada forward Olivia Smith from Liverpool in a £1 million deal.
Do you want to give me that? Is it worth it?
Yeah, it is worth it. Just to wind up deck that a little bit more. Question 3 in F1. The Dutch Grand Prix proved to be a disaster for Ferrari, with both drivers failing to finish. Which driver went out first? A. Lewis Hamilton, B. Charles Leclerc, or C. neither? They took each other out at the same time.
Lewis Hamilton.
1 out of 3. Chin up.
There we go. And their home Grand Prix is at Monza this weekend, as coincidence would have it. So congratulations to you, Andy. You are today's winner. You've won a free £20 bet that Paddy Power will place for you, so you can try and win some cash for your charity. Just remains for me to ask, what are you going to go for?
England to beat Andorra.
Oh,
not really.
No, go on, sticking your neck out.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much of the odds. I think England to put 4 past Andorra.
You're going 4-0, eh?
4-0.
4-0.
We'll find out live on talkSPORT and see how you get on next week.
Thank you, Fletch. You can catch Fletch 1 a.m.
4 or more goals. Let's give it a bit more of a chance.
4 or more goals. I think you might be
we'll
right.
sort it out. So there we are. That was another Paddy's Challenge. Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power. 18 plus begamblerware.org. We're off to England training next.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. 18 plus begamblerware.org.
we're going to cross to St George's Park now, where England are training ahead of the first game. They're playing Andorra at home at Villa Park, then they go to Serbia next Tuesday. Both games on talkSPORT. Our England correspondent, Faye Carruthers, will be there, and she's at St George's Park now. Hi, Faye.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
We can see the players behind you.
Yeah, just running past. I understand all 25 are out there, so no injury concerns at the moment.
No injury concerns. They're actually joined by a couple of the England under-20s as well. 19-year-old Middlesbrough midfielder Law McCabe, who's out on loan with Plymouth at the moment, and Nottingham Forest under-21 defender Zach Abbott are with them training today. Led out by Harry Kane, Dan Burn and Jordan Henderson earlier on, and now jogging and doing their stretches just behind me.
The two players you've just mentioned, are they there to make up the numbers? I mean, why would they be available? It's quite strange.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they like to do it. They usually do it with the under-21s, but obviously they're not here at the moment, so they're doing the under-20s. It gives them an experience of playing with the seniors. They might be two players that have been identified to potentially progress further. Equally, they need numbers in defence and midfield, so I can understand why they've both been brought in.
The process back in the day when we were going to these sorts of things was that you can watch 10 minutes, Faye, then they boot you out and they work on all the set pieces and stuff. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we get 15 now, extra
right.
5.
Oh, marvellous.
So, yeah. But we still see nothing, absolutely nothing. We see a lot of stretching. We usually see some games as well, and there's been some interesting new games introduced since Thomas Tuchel took over and his staff. We've seen a few different versions of games. Getting a ball into the bin was one that we saw in the last camp. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. No rubber chickens yet, which is what we saw under Gareth Southgate's reign.
Yeah. The Tuchel regime so far has been a bit underwhelming, and I think this is a very important 2 games for Tuchel. Not so much even the results, but the way England play. We need to see a vibrant England team. We all know what we've got in the Premier League. We all know what these young players can do. There was a feeling in the last set of internationals, the team looked a bit old, a bit slow. It was at the end of a long season, to be fair to him, but I think he needs to show something in this next 2 games.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andy. To be honest, the June camp is always a tricky camp anyway, but to end on a defeat to Senegal in a friendly was really disappointing. We saw an exciting England in the last kind of half an hour of the game, but when Thomas Tuchel took over, he said he wanted to see an adventurous England side and to get the most out of the incredible players that he's got at his disposal. It's not been as slick as we perhaps would have liked, and when I sat down and spoke to him last week at the squad announcement, he admitted that himself and said he was quite disappointed with the way the June camp had gone, but that he felt that he had the competition back in him, the competitive edge back in him, and was raring to go for what are 3 really crucial camps coming up in September, October, November, and that's why he's named, or he originally named, before Adam Wharton had to pull out, a slightly trimmed down side in 24, because he wanted competition. So he's effectively picked 2 players per position because he really wants to ramp up the competition between them and make it known to them that it's going to be really tough to get into his side for the World Cup next year.
And they made very hard work of this game over there in Barcelona in June, didn't they? It took 50 minutes to score the first goal. It was a tough old watch, wasn't it? They were pretty resilient. We weren't at it, and they dug in.
Yeah, I think we'll see a different showing at Villa Park, without a doubt. I think it's very much been impressed on the players that, try and make... I mean, they were patient, and they have to be against sides like Andorra, but I think everybody expected it to be, a 3-4, 5-0. We saw Spain score 5 against them, but before the game, Thomas Tuchel had actually warned people against that kind of expectation, and that Andorra were a vastly different side, and actually Spain needed a set piece in order to unlock them in the first place. So, England do have to be patient. I think gone are the days necessarily where we're steamrollering teams straight away. He's got to learn, which players fit into, and bless you, which players fit into the system that he wants to play. But we know the creativity that we've got, and we know the quality that's in the ranks, and I'm sure that the players are going to want to perform and put in a real performance and make it a statement win.
It's been a while since I've had one of your random violence.
I know, it wasn't too loud, that one for me.
No, for you. We spoke to Tancredi.
It was in my ears.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
All the levels went mad. Poor old Deck.
That's what Stockley Park.
Yeah.
Salisbury sneezing in Rob Jones's ear.
Yeah. We spoke to Tancredi Palmieri earlier on, Faye, about Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and he said he wasn't playing massively well. He's not been a bad start to the season. The tail end of last season, he wasn't particularly at it. So he was a little bit surprised that England called him up. But obviously Tuchel knows him by reputation, and that's obviously why he got the nod.
Yeah, well, he knew a week in advance. He said in the press conference that he'd been given the nod, that he was, in with a shout, without a doubt, and he'll have known that he'll have been on the long list as well. And obviously Thomas Tuchel, did play with him, he did play for Thomas Tuchel when Thomas was at Chelsea. We actually saw him at Stamford Bridge the other week for the friendly against AC Milan. I interviewed him before the match, and he was really relaxed and pleased to be back in the UK. He was actually back visiting his mum as well when he got the call that he was going to be brought in after Adam Wharton had to unfortunately pull out with that groin injury. But I think he's just delighted to be back and is going to grasp it with both hands. The physicality that he's got, I think, is going to be really important in the midfield, and he's versatile as well. I know you played the clip earlier on where he's talked about he played all kinds of positions, including right wing back for Thomas Tuchel when he was at Chelsea. So, it's going to be really interesting to see what he does. He plays a little bit further up front for AC Milan, but we're expecting him perhaps to be a little bit deeper because of what Thomas Tuchel needs from the players that he's called up. So it's going to be fascinating to see whether or not he can seize this opportunity and potentially be called up again in October.
He's going to need his strongest side going to Serbia on Tuesday. It'd be interesting to see what sort of team he puts out against Andorra. But Andy says he wants a good performance and a good victory, plenty of goals, up the goal difference. So, I wonder if people like Jed Spence, etc., are going to see a bit of game time or not.
I'd like to hope so. My opinion is always, and poor Jarell Quansah, he's been brought back into the squad again. He still hasn't had a senior caps, despite being called up on numerous occasions. I always question whether or not it's worth bringing players along if they're not going to play. And that's pretty much what Thomas Tuchel had said last week. He wanted a trimmed-down squad because, they weren't able to play all 23 last time round. So, I'd be disappointed if Jed Spence didn't get an opportunity, for sure. Obviously, Miles Lewis-Skelly hasn't been first choice for Arsenal, so maybe Jed, who has had a good start, Paul, I think it's fair to say, with Tottenham so far in the Premier League this season, might get the nod.
Well, I think they're about to kick you out, Faye. So we'll let you we'll let you go,
enough.
And we're going to be hearing from some of the other players, aren't we? A couple of the players have been put up for interview, so who we'd like to hear from later on.
So I sat down and spoke to Jared Bowen and also Morgan Rogers. Both were absolutely fantastic, on really good form. Delighted to be with the squad. Of course, Jared recalled after missing out on the June camp because Thomas Tuchel wanted to look at other attacking options. Morgan Rogers, though, has pretty much cemented himself in Thomas Tuchel's thoughts. He's been included in every camp that Thomas Tuchel has named so far. So yeah, you'll hear both of those interviews later on.
Okay, we'll catch up with you later in the week. Thanks very much.
See ya.
Faye Crothers, our England correspondent, St George's
Great
Park.
for Villa. He's a wonderful player, Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of uncertainty. There was all this transfer stuff, maybe. And Jared Bowen obviously going to have a bit of a spring in his step after that win against Forest the other day, getting the first goal.
Proven, definitely.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So that game against Andorra is, of course, live here on talkSPORT. We bring you that one. It's 5 o'clock kickoff at Villa Park. It's nice when England go on the road. It's always a good atmosphere. And then they take on Serbia on Tuesday night. And it's our regular team of Adrian Durham, Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce on commentary duty, with Faye, of course, catching up with the manager and the players in and around the game. Loads of football for you over the weekend as well. Got lots of EFL action and more. So we hear from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We're just chatting about him now. He was talking about getting back in the England squad after all the years of missing out. And Andy mentioned that bad injury he had that he never quite recovered from a Chelsea point of view. But yeah, injury was a big effect on his career.
It's been a long time. I was a part of the 2018 squad, and even the season after I was called up. But just missed on injuries all the time. And then, of course, I ruptured my Achilles at the end of that season, and then it took me a year and a half to feel all right again. So a lot of that period was tough mentally for my head, you know, with the injury and trying to come back and feel good again. And after that, after about a year and a half, 2 years, I felt myself again. And I was playing well for Chelsea when I played, and then came time to move on to AC Milan, which I'm really enjoying and playing some good football. So that's what's happened, man.
Yeah, shows you, doesn't it? A year and a half to get over an injury. This is this is the problem with any injury. You know, even players that do hamstrings and things like that. You're out for a certain amount of time, and then you've got to get your form.
Yeah,
it's really difficult.
Things like ACLs as well. You need I mean, we saw Rodrigo Bentancur when he came back. He wasn't the same player for 6 months. He never really got up to speed. It's difficult.
He's looked a bit better, hasn't he? This season?
Yeah, he's been playing pretty well this season. Madueke set up the first goal against Andorra in June, didn't he, in Barcelona? And he's made a decent start for us.
Yeah, he was good on Sunday.
So I think he's got a pretty good chance of starting this one, I would think.
He did a bit what he normally does in a game. He is a bit of a fader. He starts brilliantly, and then after about an hour, you sort of don't see him for a bit. And that happened on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But he can be very effective, no question.
Well, I'm sure you'll be hearing Faye said she caught up with Jared Bowen a little bit earlier on. And who was the other player she said she spoke to? Gone mad.
Oh.
Not doing very well. Oh, yeah, Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers, yeah, we just talked about it.
Just chatting about it. So anyway, I'm sure you'll hear from them in Drive or later on in the evening in Kick-Off. I'm back tomorrow with Charlie Baker, though Andy will be joining us for the spread. Stick around for Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with Drive, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.